stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets,
Jets. There he is. What's up, everybody? This is GreenBean. Welcome to the victory version of the Thursday thick of it. The New York Jets are 2-2 for the first time in some of your guys' entire lifetime. Isn't that crazy to think about? But we're going to ride it, man. I'm tired of people saying we're supposed to be miserable. These are weak victories. I don't even hear it. We are going to be happy. This show is going to remind you why and how to be happy. And to do that, we're going to bring on a very good friend of ours. Let's talk to Frankie from Flatbush. Let's get him in here. What's up, Frankie?
Happy Victory Thursday, everybody. It's not too often we could say that here recently, but it's another Victory Thursday. And I think
Indeed.
what Sunday really means is that we're now better than the Steelers. Steelers, you had your time. You had a nice organization. You had everything planned out. You were stable. You were this and that. And we're now better. Sorry.
Indeed.
You're the Jets now.
Frankie. Frankie, think about this. Minkah Fitzpatrick, he says it's just tough to lose to people you're better than, you're more talented than. And somebody should remind him, and I'm sure there has been numerous reminders since that comment was uttered, you are winless. And the Jets, we didn't just beat you. We beat you in your house and beat the Browns in their house. Two teams we were supposed to get beaten by. So, it's like we're not just one tick away from you. We've left you. You're in the basement. We just got to the 2 steps before the kitchen out of the basement. We're about to make a bagel, Frankie. That's where we're going.
Well, I just love the tears. I will drink up the tears of Minkah Fitzpatrick all day long because those kind of tears are delicious. Thank you, Minkah, for providing the tears of deliciousness.
It's funny, Frank. This is why I like you. That's it. That's the epitome. That's all of it rolled into a nice, chewy little ball. The tears. I like the tears. As a matter of fact, I like that. And I like that the Steelers' whole identity is this towel that thankfully they can dry their tears, Frankie. I enjoy that. The terrible tears from the terrible towel, Frankie.
Yeah, dry
That's
your
what I
tears
like.
with your terrible towel. Play your renegade. Play your victory song. Do whatever you want. And we'll be over here sipping from our cup of tears from the Browns and from the Steelers and from whoever else we can sip from the cup of tears from. We find it very delicious.
The cup of tears, the delicious tears. You know who else likes these tears? Dave Miller likes the tears, Frankie. Harry W. likes the tears. He wants some dolphin fish tacos. That's what he wants. Yeah. Braden would like some. He wants some tacos too. He's saying squish those fish. He wants some dolphin jelly. That's what I think he wants. Hank is here. We're always happy to see Hank. Jets Forever gets us started. But Frankie, I'm noticing a trend with the green heart. If you scroll down a little bit, Mark Riz got a little green heart. Our buddy Phil Bogachuk got a couple green hearts. Green hearts. Look at you, Jets Forever. They talk. Hey, Jets Forever. They throw their stones. But what's the saying, Frankie? Imitation is the finest form of flattery or something like that. So that's good. We're all in this together. Knobcraft is here, Frankie. He just wants a chum slick on the field Sunday. Yeah, see, we're all in the same boat here. We're all drinking from the same cup of tears. R&R, where's I love this shit button? Yeah, we got to get one of those. I've been lobbying YouTube for an I love this shit button. They're not buying it just yet. Indiana Jets is here. As I said, Mark Riz. Harlan's with us. Travis Preheim, who I learned, Frankie, I'm not sure how much you listen to the Just Jets podcast from our good friend Matt O'Leary, but Travis Preheim is a weekly caller from episode 1. Wow. Matt's on episode 136. Travis has called just about he's Travis from Ohio. That's who this guy is. Isn't that amazing?
I might advise
I just
Travis
learned
to
that.
perhaps get a little bit more
Amazing.
of a life, but that's okay.
So generating 84. Hey, you there? What was that? You guys hear me?
Back to Freeze Bean. Freeze Bean is back. Uh-oh. We got problems, everybody. Freeze Bean is back. Pixel Bean is back. Let me see if it's everybody. Let's look at the comments. Okay, Freeze Bean it is. So it is Freeze Bean. All right, I guess I'll try and take over. Identity theft is not a joke. Yeah, we're the Steelers now, right, Matthew Smith? We're the Steelers now. Sorry, Steelers. You had a good run. Uh-oh. You had a good run. Let's see who else is here. Jinpak is here. Turn PlayStation off. Huge Johnson is here. Well, you got to love anybody named Huge Johnson. I can't bring up your comments, everybody, in case you're wondering. Indiana Jet says it's all on me. Well, that's a lot of pressure. Braden says it's not who you have, it's who else you have. Yeah, that's right, Braden.
You remember who said that, Frankie, first? Me.
I believe it was this guy.
No, me. That's me. It's a Greenbeanism. Everybody knows. Everybody remembers the right way. You're trying to make some shit up to steal my stuff. I know how you roll. Sorry about that, everybody. Frankie, thank you. I was all I hoped. Like it just went like freeze. You know what I mean? I saw a bunch of thinking circles all over the place. And I thought to myself, I hope this is not like YouTube or what. I just hope Frankie's still good. And I went on my phone and there you were. Frankie's like, I don't know what's happening. Braden said, you're good, Frankie. I was like, all right. It's worst case scenario. At least, you guys still get it and get yourselves a show. So there it is.
But I learned that I can't bring up the comments. So like if people, I was like, maybe I could bring up these comments. And it's like, nope.
Yeah, you learned that, right? Well, now you know. See, now that's what that was all for. It's a little lesson.
Gotta learn.
So, Frankie, I'm going to get to this super chat right off the bat, and then we are going to talk about some things that we have on deck. I really want to bend your ear on a few things. I'd like to start with one of the real peaks of the whole thing. I won't say what that is, but I think most of the people in the chat are going to agree with me when I say, boy, oh boy, is this an exciting development for us. Maybe one of the more exciting developments in recent years. In a decade. It's up there. So we'll talk about that right after we get to Travis from Ohio's. Oh, he's not Travis from Ohio. You're Travis from. Matt said you were Travis from Ohio.
How could you insult him like that, Green Bean? He's not from Ohio. He's from Colorado. He's from the
Frankie,
place where marijuana is free for everybody.
Well, he's at the place where the game is on tonight. As we know, the Indianapolis Colts have traveled to Denver. And if you watched one of Frankie's earlier videos, we learned that the Denver Broncos are way up top of the heap with figuring out how to maintain a beautiful grass field in cold weather. Like that's the big excuse for all these teams. It's cold. It gets destroyed, muddy. Denver figured it out, and the entire NFL should be mimicking them to the letter. So, Travis, I'm really sorry. And dude, listen, there's no Coloradoan sitting there thinking, oh, I wish we were in Ohio. You know what I mean? You think there's one, Frankie? There's one guy in Ohio like, this place sucks. I want to be in Ohio. You think there's one of those guys? I want to go root for Cleveland.
I've been to Ohio numerous times, but I've never been to Colorado. Now, I know it's like an outdoorsy kind of place, and people like to be in the outdoors and the high altitude. But I don't know from Colorado, but I do know from Ohio, and there's a couple of nice spots. But it's not. I find
Ohioans to be mean. Like you guys know the whole thing I've had in Cleveland. But I spent quite a long time in Ohio traveling around. I was there twice for like 2 or 3 weeks at a clip. I went to Cedar Point, Kings Island, great theme parks in Ohio. There's a national park there. I forget, I've done a lot. I love Ohio, but it's the people. I've had nothing but run-ins in Ohio. I don't know what it is. Everybody's like, get out of here. Go to Colorado, you wimp. That's how they are in Ohio. So sorry about that, Travis. I do apologize. Well, thanks for the clarification. I think I called you. I've been calling you that for 3 damn shows now. So thank you for finally saying, now you got to cut that out. That's not who I am. Anyway, so Frankie, let's get right into this. There is a really interesting, just happening, let's call it. And that is with one of our offensive linemen in particular here. Look, we could they're all decimated. You could like the signing of Laken Tomlinson. You could be rooting for Mekhi Becton as I was. You could like Conor McDermott on the end over there. But this guy, AVT, the New York Jets last year traded up in the first round. Guys like myself said, why are you doing this? Why are you giving away 2 third-round picks to trade for AVT, who I loved, by the way, loved the player? Why are you trading 2 third-round picks when you could just take Creed Humphrey, right where you are? I was wondering that. Then we got the 4th back and everything, and it's all fine and dandy. But his second year, Frankie, we move him from left guard to right guard. He does great. So great, in fact, that George Fant, who he was next to last year, looks like he might be missing AVT. And no matter who plays next to AVT on the right side, seems to be doing okay. It's like all of a sudden, anywhere he is, the guy next to him seems to be elevated, at least somewhat. Last week, and we discussed this, but nobody thought it was realistic. This is just fan talk. AVT played tackle in college. It was, stop it. We talked about it, but I don't think anyone really thought it was a viable option outside of, the next guys like Conor McDermott getting hurt and having no one left. And then we look at the game, and there he is. Interesting. But he dominates, Frankie. He absolutely dominates at left tackle. Now, that's 3 positions that he's played, 2 positions in the last 2 weeks. So what do you think of this AVT? I personally am excited, and I want to, once I find out your feelings, I want to ask.
Freeze Bean again. Uh-oh. Let's check the comments. Let me know if it's Freeze Bean again. Freeze Bean. All right, but we can talk about AVT because trying to see these comments, because I've said that I think so far, Freezy Beanie. Okay. I think that so far I put out a video saying through the first 4 games, I think AVT is our MVP. That's how much I appreciate what he's done for this team. But, and we've had a lot of people playing really well. Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, even Elijah's playing well, even though his production isn't what you might want. Corey Davis is playing well. And so I think, I think at the first 4 games, AVT is the team's MVP. Really? I mean, how can you expect that to happen? It's very difficult to just move guys around. It's not easy at all. Dwayne Brown talked about that. Lots of people talked about it. And you really have to appreciate a guy who just says, yeah, whatever you need, I'll do it. Whatever you need, I'll do it, and I'll do it well. And you really do have to appreciate that. I mean, that kind of attitude. And I said in my video too, I remember back to last year when they had the One Jets Drive video, and they were one of the episodes, I think it was after the Miami Dolphins game. I don't know if you guys remember this, but after the Miami Dolphins game, Elijah Moore was disappointed, and he had left his helmet somewhere where it's not supposed to be. And I don't know where the equipment's supposed to go. But AVT came up as a rookie. AVT came up to Elijah and said, yo, E, we don't do that, right? We do not do that, whatever that was. And Elijah said, yes, sir, and got his helmet and put it in the right place, whatever that is. So I said after that, I said, this guy's a leader. I mean, what kind of leadership is this guy showing? Rookie on rookie. As a rookie, he steps up and says, yo, E, we don't do that. That's not who we are. And so, you have a guy here as a rookie who is showing the way, showing this is how we do things. This is how we get things done over here. That's real. Whoa. Naheem Hines is severely injured, it looks like. These injuries on these in these games are getting out of hand. What is going on? He is stumbling around. What is happening with these injuries? For God's sakes. Um, it doesn't even look like that much of a hit. Very strange. Ooh, that is weird. That is very strange. That reminds you of what happened with Tua. There's something weird going on there. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, AVT, what in the world can you expect out of that guy? Now he's going to be playing center next. You know, so I think, we have a lot of guys that are playing well, and thank goodness for that. But AVT, I think you have to put at the top of the list. You really have to put at the top of the list because what kind of a guy? I mean, it's hard to do. And he just says, yeah, I'll do it. No problem. And then we find out he's working on his own after practice, putting in extra work just in case, that we might need me over a tackle. All right, let me put in extra work. I mean, that is, you really have to say that is something to be admired. And I think that says a lot about the young man. And I think we have a lot of young men on this team who have the same qualities like that. And I think that's very encouraging. Now, I don't know. We got a lot of people you might say are the MVP of the team so far in 4 weeks. You might say Quinnen Williams. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. Maybe you think Quinnen Williams is really the MVP, or Sauce Gardner, or DJ Reed, or or Conor McGovern. He's played pretty well. Or Breece Hall, maybe. Hines is now walking off. He looks fine, but probably that's a concussion thing. One would think. Hate to see it. You hate to see it. But yeah, I mean, maybe AVT plays tight end next, like like Talazi's saying, right? He's going to play tight end. He's going to play center. He's going to play quarterback. He's going to do it all. Here comes Freezebean.
Dude, what's that all? You know what I just did, Frankie? You see that thing behind me there?
Yeah.
That is called Full-Time Coaster Tour. That is the internet that I brought around with me around the car. I had to go to that. My house is like toast. What happened?
Man,
I think somebody might have cut a wire somewhere.
You're supposed to be more settled now. You're home. For those who don't know, Greenbean used to be on the road all the time.
Yeah.
He was living on the road all the time. He had to have all this stuff going on. But now he's settled down and still freeze-beaning.
Suddenly, it's like, and you know what's good, though? Like, I hope it just gets it all out. Like, this is bad. You know what I mean? Like, just crush it. Like, get it all out tonight. Don't drip me and drab me for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? But so, yeah, sorry, everybody. It is the good. It just is what it is. We're rebooting the other system, but we just dug in the bag of tricks. And my wife's like, you want the RV internet? I'm like, yeah, let's go. Look at that thing. It's fun. It's a big ass modem. Let's see how it goes. So we are back. So Frankie, what did you say quickly? I know I don't want to tell you. Hey, that 15 minutes you were talking, can you repeat it? But what did you say? I heard you getting at Dwayne Brown a little bit. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I basically said my theory is through the first 4 games, even though we've had a lot of people playing well, and you could have your different favorites. For me, AVT is the MVP of the team so far. I don't see how you could think about it any other way. As soon as you say, okay, we need to switch you to right guard. Okay, no problem. And we need you to switch in season to left tackle against the Pittsburgh Steelers of all people. Okay, and he plays really well and helps us get our second win of the season. To me, AVT is the MVP of the first quarter of the season.
Yeah, I think the argument can be made that maybe Quinnen on the defensive side. I mean, he's smashing.
Too. Like some people were saying Quinnen, some people were saying Sauce, some people were saying DJ Reed, and I could see all those arguments. Yeah, it makes sense. But for me, I'm a fan of offensive line play, so I'm going to always be a little more, a little more appreciative of the offensive line for me than most, probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. I think I'm leaning the same way. AVT, especially because we're in a pinch. You know what I mean? It's like we're in trouble, and being able to backfill ABT's spot with Nate Herbig, which we all love that signing, get rid of Van Roten and bring in Herbig, and then being able to stick ABT over there and actually have it work is fantastic, man. Like whatever issues we're having, I mean, people, I mean, I've been talking to people for the past few weeks about Joe Douglas and his, what he's built. He said he was going to give us an offensive line, and look where we still are. There's an argument for that. I get it. I'm with you. If you're looking at the end result, you're right. But how many GMs lose 4 tackles in the first quarter of the season too? So there's that. My problem is that he waited a little too long to, in my opinion, to bring in the Remmers and the Oboyes and all those guys. I think he waited just a little bit too long. Other than that, though, look at it. I mean, we have guys dropping like flies, and they're still playing. Like they're not what they were for Sammy. Even though Zach is running around like a crazy man. I think a lot of that's on Zach. We'll get into that later as well. But let me just say this. NC, number one, I hate it. I think you should go back to Stud City only. I know I don't like this NC, North Carolina, Stud City stuff. That's the last time I'll say it. Dude, I did have it worked up. It's not my fault the internet went out. What are you going to do? Servers are servers, I mean, Wi-Fi, I mean, towers. What am I going to do? Well, I was fine. I haven't had an issue in the 4 months I've lived here. So what I'm saying, Stud City, is screw you, buddy. That's what I'm saying. Okay, screw you. So it is what it is. But look, Frankie, that's one of the reasons Frankie's here, and Jeremy, everybody's here to lovingly support you guys when problems occur. See, it was without a hitch. I know it was. Frankie's smooth as butter.
Yeah, I mean,
so now listen. So let's
you got to have resiliency plans, Stud City. That's called a resiliency plan.
That's right. Right. Resiliency. I like this. And that's it. You got to figure it out. There's always a solution, Frankie. That's what I teach the kids. There's always a solution. Stop crying. Let's find the solution. Stop it. Right. So now, staying with the offensive line, though, Dwayne Brown came off of IR this week, Frankie. Dwayne Brown is a guy that we signed to replace Quinnen Williams. I'm sorry. Mekhi Becton. When he went down, we brought in Dwayne Brown, and he gets injured the third day he's here or something along those lines. He was on injured reserve. He comes back this week. Today was his first day of actual contact practice. So let's just assume things are going to go well and he's going to play. Let's just do that for argument's sake right now. Dwayne Brown's going to come in. He's had a few weeks to absorb the playbook and all that jazz, so that's great. He's ready to go. What are we doing at right tackle? Are you moving ABT back to right guard? Are you keeping Conor McDermott, who played well in that game? He played well, much better at right tackle than he has at left tackle. Are you keeping Conor McDermott there, or are you going to explore this crazy little rumor that's bubbling up that maybe it's time to stick AVT at right tackle, Frankie? Now, that would be 3 different positions in as many weeks. What do you think? What do you do, and what do you think's realistic?
Boy, I don't know. It depends, really. I mean, we do have Cedric Ogbuehi, and he might play right tackle, I guess. We do have Remmers, and I don't know how ready they are. It's hard to know.
Right.
We haven't heard anything about them. The beat reporters haven't asked anything about them because, of course, they're the geniuses of the beat reporters who just want drama queen stories. So I don't know. I mean, I would assume that AVT could play right tackle. I guess. We really want to do that to the kid? I don't know, but it depends. He probably would be able to do it. I guess the question comes down to, do we want Herbig to play guard and AVT to play tackle? Or do we want or is it better to have AVT as the guard and then Ogbuehi or Remmers as the right tackle? I don't know the answer to that. These people are new. I don't know. Mike Remmers, how good is he going to be? Cedric Ogbuehi, I don't know how good he's going to be. He's a former first-round pick, but he was on somebody's practice squad. So how good can he really be? Yeah. I don't know. I would guess they're going to probably move AVT to right tackle because they probably want Herbig in there. They know what they get because you know what you get with Herbig, right? So I guess they're going to just – and then, I mean, if he plays well at right tackle, he's the Joe Klecko of the offensive line. Let's just be real about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's a pretty. I tell you, that's quite the boast, Frankie. I don't know if I agree with that. I hear you. I think, and while, like you said, I do agree. Nate Herbig is now a known commodity, and they can feel good about that. Dwayne Brown's a Pro Bowler. He might be spotty, getting with the new line and everything, but we know what Nate Herbig is. We kind of know what Dwayne Brown is. We know what Lakin is, and Hole is at right tackle. Stick ABT over there. I mean, I get it, but again, I don't know. It just seems a bit much for this ABT guy. It's like then that's the kind of thing like you overdo it and then he twists an ankle and now you don't have him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I get nervous. I don't know. I think right. Mike Remmers has now been here. This will be his third week. I think this is beginning his third, maybe, or second week. Maybe he's still on the practice squad, so they haven't bumped him up. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Here's the thing I will say. I feel good about the amount of options that we have. They might not all be ready, Frankie, but we have some guys in the house now that at least have played in the NFL and can be better than, pulling Grant Herman's up from the practice squad, who we don't know what the hell he is, but it could be better than that. You know what I mean? So I do commend Joe Douglas in that. I'd love to see Oboye and, play right. I'd love to see all these guys. Let's bring in all these pros. Just screw it, man. We tried to bring the kids in. They all got hurt. We'll keep AVT. Just go with the old vets and give Zach Wilson a line, man. What do you think, Frankie?
Well, the other thing is, I don't know how they value Conor McDermott. McDermott played okay. He's an okay run blocker, but his pass pro is not good. Not good at all. I don't feel comfortable with Conor McDermott out there, but they kind of have been. So I don't know if they value Ogbuhe and Remmers more than McDermott. They might just say, screw it. McDermott's the right tackle. AVT's the guard. Dwayne Brown on the left side, and we'll help McDermott with the tight ends and chips and all that kind of thing. They might go that way. I don't like that. I think I'd rather have a good pass pro guy than a good run blocking guy.
Yeah.
Because if somebody doesn't run
Every
block, all right, you lose a couple of yards, okay. But if you don't pass pro, you're putting our young quarterback's life in jeopardy, his career in jeopardy. Any hit he takes could take him out. So and so I don't know. If it were me, it depends on what Remmers and Ogbuhe look like in practice, but I would go that way or kick AVT out to the right. As long as he says he can do it, which I'm pretty sure he would. Seems like the guy who says, well, whatever you need, linebacker, cornerback, I'll do it. Yeah. Quarterback, sure. Running back, whatever. He seems to be that kind of guy. So he probably would say he can do it. But you got Herbig, so you might want to go Herbig AVT, I guess.
He does seem to be that kind of guy. He does. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting, man. You look clearly in the same way this regime valued LaMarcus Joyner when we were all ready to throw him in the trash.
Yeah.
And there's Ty Johnson, but there's a Corey Davis. A lot of fans might like, dude, how many drops are we going to give this guy? And then they come up huge. And maybe that's where the value is, Frankie. Maybe the value is sticking and staying. Like, Jets fans, we're a fractured, beaten, abused bunch. We just are traumatized even. And sometimes when we see 2-3 weeks of the same thing, we say that's enough. And this coaching staff, and in the same way that we need to give a coaching staff more than a year and 2 games to evaluate them, and a general manager, and on. Maybe that's where the value is. And maybe this Conor McDermott, like, they seem to like him. Now, we've disagreed with many of their personnel decisions. We've talked about it numerous times. Some of them, it looked like they weren't working out. They're turning some corners, some of these guys. Maybe Conor McDermott is the guy at right guard. I'm sorry, right tackle, at least temporarily. It'd be real nice to know that if he needs to come in for 2 games, that he can do it. It would be real nice to know, right? But I'm with you, Frankie, just so we're clear, everybody. If I got to pick one, pass protection, run blocking, I'm picking pass protection 100% of the time, specifically for the reasons that Frankie said. And I'll add one, because when your quarterback is protected and safe, those are much more devastating plays a lot of the time. It's a passing league, as we know. Run, I'm a big run game guy, but you got to choose one. It's passing game. Now, before I get to the super chat from Disregard Papa, Frankie, I'm going to go ahead and switch back over this internet. I'm getting like 3 upload and download. So it looks like my other internet is working. So I'm going to switch over. It might kick me out. It's going to for about like 10, 15 seconds or so. And I'll come right back. So Frankie, go ahead. Talk about whatever you'd like. Here, I'll put this up. Jets Forever says sit Max Mitchell for the year. So take that one. And I'll be right back, everybody.
Well, Max Mitchell, I mean, we're not going to sit him. Now, Max Mitchell might be done for the year. So Max Mitchell, the fear with Max Mitchell is that he has something similar to Mekhi Becton, which is the kneecap, the injury to behind the kneecap. And if that's the case, Max Mitchell is not going to be, benched. He's going to not be able to play. So we're going to have to see how he progresses if he actually does have that. I think it's called the capula or something like that. But if he has that, it's very unlikely he's going to be able to play, or if he is, maybe toward the end of the year. So we're probably not going to get Max Mitchell back anytime soon. I wouldn't count on it anyway. So I don't think Max Mitchell we have to think about. What we really have to think about is Dwayne Brown. Hopefully he can come back this week. That would be a real bonus. And then what do we have with Mike Remmers and Cedric Ogbuehi and and Conor McDermott and all of that? That's what I think we need to take a look at. And hopefully it can get solidified one way or the other. One thing to keep in mind, we do want a solidified line at some point. Then Jeremy also mentioned Fant also coming back. So Fant should be able to come back, right? So maybe it's just hold down the fort until George
that's
Fant
right.
gets
That's a good
back.
point.
I mean, that would be fantastic if we got Dwayne Brown being Dwayne Brown on the left tackle, and then a couple of games we stitch it together one way or another, and then George Fant comes back on the right side and is the normal George Fant, not the one we saw with the knee problem and he can't do anything and he can't move around. Hopefully he's the regular George Fant.
Right. Well, he gets to play next to AVT again, even though they flipped sides. So maybe that'll help him too. That seems to be working.
Yeah. And that would be great. I mean, so that would be wonderful. And then we'd have Remmers and Ogbuehi and everybody else's backups. And so, yeah, that's what you really want. But yeah, Max Mitchell, I wouldn't count on him this year, really. If he comes back, great. But it's not looking good. If he has the whatever they call it, the capula thing, it's pretty serious. So I wouldn't count on him. If he comes back, it's a bonus.
Right. And you let him compete next year, or they like him enough to let Fant walk or whatever it might be. You bring him back. I mean, look, he's young man. Let him, while he's rehabbing the knee, just keep bench pressing, shoulder doing, flippy flopping, whatever you call it,
brother. Yeah,
get strong, buddy. Now look,
there's the athleticism and the strength, and then we're in business.
That's right. We already know. Right. We work it all out while you're rehabbing. We got a plan. So Stud City brought up an interesting idea. And it's funny because we're doing this on the defensive line. Now he says, why don't we just start rotating the offensive line? And then Knobcraft jumps in, our old buddy. He says, I'm with Stud City here. I think we should start rotating the offense. We have so many guys, and maybe not rotating like where you see Conor McGovern over there at left tackle. Maybe not that kind of rotation. But Conor McGovern gets 82% of the snaps. And Dan Feeney comes in for a little while. Maybe a little Dan Feeney. Maybe get Dan Feeney in there. Maybe Nate Herbig gets a few snaps at center. And maybe Grant Hermans and then Dwayne Brown and oh boy, they all get some fun. They get 19% of the snaps, Frankie, like Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, and those folks. What do you think? Have you ever seen something like that, Frankie? You think that's possible? Or is the gelling, the congealing of the offensive line, does it supersede all of that nonsensical stuff? What do you think?
Well, the conventional wisdom is, yes, you want the same 5 and the best 5 out there, and you want them playing together, and you want them communicating and knowing how each other's going to react and all of that good stuff. That's conventional wisdom. However, there is a thought, and it does happen in college, where rotating in, either linemen or just sort of like line swaps in hockey, we're going to swap in a new line for every, keeps everybody fresh. And you do see it in the college ranks. And I would say, and not that I think a college is different now. And the O-line gurus talked about this a bit on Twitter and said, no, it's not a good idea. But it was proposed, and it does happen in college. And you did see, for example, a guy the example in the pro ranks would be what we just saw with Dallas and Jason Peters. If you notice, when Jason Peters came in, he was not the left tackle. He was the left guard. And everybody said, whoa, really?
what's
Hall
happening?
of Fame tackle Jason Peters is going to play guard? What? And they didn't, and he did a good job in his first game, but then they swapped him out and they brought somebody else in because he had to ramp up. We also saw this with David Bakhtiari in his first game, where he didn't play the whole game. He played, I think, 75% of the snaps, and they had somebody else come in because they're ramping him up because of injury. So you see it a little bit, but generally speaking, you really want the best 5 out there for the whole game. And I think that's probably smart because there's so much going on with NFL defenses. If you do not have a cohesive unit who's communicating, understands how to handle stunts and blitzes and this and that, probably going to lead to a more dysfunctional offense. So it's an interesting idea, especially if you have a ramp up guy, a guy that's coming back and you don't want to, and he's not conditioned yet. Like you might think about it with Dwayne Brown. Maybe he's not conditioned yet, or Ogbuhe
Right.
or Remmers. And so we're going to play him the first half, and then the second half, we're going to go with somebody different because he can't handle the whole game. So you might do something like that. But otherwise, I do think if you can, it's optimal to have, the best 5 out there the whole game.
Yeah, I think that's where I lean. Now, there's a comment by Stud City. He says, wow, I was just kidding. So there's that. And Watu-K jumped on too.
It is an interesting point of discussion. It has been discussed, and it has come up a few times for different reasons in the NFL.
Yeah, right. That's why I wanted to talk about it. It's like, it's interesting. Now, likely, no, but it's interesting. And it's, I mean, look, when you look at our current scenario, it's more. Jesus, am I back? What the frig is happening, Frankie? Got kicked off again. Am I here?
It's back.
Can you guys hear me?
Days.
Am I here?
It's Pixel Bean. It's Freeze Bean. Oh, there he goes. Yeah. So Disregard Papa has a super chat. So I'll thank you on behalf of GreenBean. Has Lakin been improving ever since his poor start? Not really. I'm a little worried about Lakin. He's been okay, but we expected a lot more out of Lakin Tomlinson. To be honest with you, I think they're going to put him on the move a little bit more. In other words, guard power and things of that nature, pin pull and so forth and so on. If you see him do that, he's good at that. But if you expect him to just sort of stand there and block Justin Madubuike, you're not going to, what a hit. He's not going to do well. That's not what he does. He needs to be on the move. He's very athletic. We need guard power. We need pin pull out of him. We need to be him being the lead blocker. Get him moving. That's the way to use Lakin Tomlinson. So I'd like to see more of that out of him. And so that's the case with Lakin, but he's been disappointing so far this year. He has been, and I don't know. I'm hoping he gets better because I don't know what to make of it really. So we'll have to see. But yeah, Lakin Tomlinson been a disappointment so far, but hopefully he gets better. Because we really paid him a lot of money. Yeah. We really did. And so we'll see about that. But overall, I mean, the thing about it is to be sitting here 2-2 with this patchwork offensive line, you really have to be, you have to be thrilled that, they haven't been great, the O-line, but, they've gotten it done. So.
Great answer, Frankie. I want you to know that. I heard it. I could hear it.
I did respond to your super chat. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad I got it up there. Disregard Papa, please excuse me. I was gonna also tell you that Lakin Tomlinson has a 40.5 PFF grade this year. So while he has come out of bad games and played better, overall, I think he's having a rocky start, especially compared to what we expected from him. Now, in his defense, there's been some issues over there, right? There's been a lot of changing on, next to him and all that. That said, I don't think still we should be seeing what we're seeing. It's early. Let's just give him some time. He's clearly a consummate professional. So let's see him bounce back. Now, that said, he has only given up one penalty, and he has not been credited with any sacks via PFF. I find that very hard to believe. I can recall seeing Lakin Tomlinson literally getting bull rushed back into Joe Flacco. Now, maybe he threw it away. Maybe so that's not a sack. It's just a pressure. I don't know. But, yeah, tough stuff. But either way, disregard Papa. Thank you. And I see here you're here again. So let's get into this, Frankie. Best O-line lineup for now. Left tackle Dwayne Brown, right tackle McDermott, left guard Laken Tomlinson, right guard. Hey, that's an interesting way to do it. Disregard Papa. I just want to tell you the way you're listing this is a little so interesting. All right, left guard Laken Tomlinson, right guard ABT, and center McGovern. This lineup is taking account all the injuries, right? I think that's probably best case scenario right now, right? I mean, who do you have at right guard here? McDermott.
The question mark would be McDermott. Like, can we improve on McDermott? If you kicked the ABT out to right tackle and you inserted Herbig as right guard, is that better than ABT at right guard and McDermott at tackle? So.
Yeah,
and you might think, it is, because tackle's more important, and ABT's a freak athlete for an offensive lineman, and let's get him out there. And Herbig's really good, solid anyway at guard, so let's do that instead of having a total sieve on the right tackle. So that would be the consideration. I'm not a big McDermott fan for what I've seen so far.
Right, of course.
Maybe he gets better, and maybe he has good games, and maybe just like LaMarcus Joyner, he shows up and is not a problem. All right. But that's what they have to figure out.
Right. And look, I think that if anybody looks at this outside of Jets Forever, who just cannot stand McGovern, he's been saying it for, I think this is 3 years now of being peppered with McGovern. Look, I'll grab one right now. Look, boom. There it is. It's here. It's always here. It's ever present. That and the Mims love, you know what I mean? It's always here. You could find one of these comments from Jets Forever at all times. So other than that, I think most of us, the way we look at it, and whether or not you love Conor McGovern is not even whatever. It's neither here nor there. I think Conor McDermott is clearly the question mark in disregard Papa's lineup here. That said, I mean, when you look at what he did at right tackle, especially compared to what he did at left tackle. Left tackle was a train wreck, right? He had a good half last year when they threw him in, and then he was so bad in the second half. It was like, I mean, nothing he did in the first half could even be considered. That's how bad it was. But when you look at the right guard, now I don't have the numbers, but I did see them when compared to Max Mitchell's earlier game earlier that game and the game prior. Conor McDermott actually had a better overall game. So and I'm a fan of the Max Mitchell experiment. I was very saddened to see him go down like that. Not only because the man, you know what I mean, but like what he was doing and what the Jets kind of were getting to explore. A 4th round pick tackle, and he's making good. We've done that before. The Matt O'Dwyers, the Jason Fabinis, right? And it goes on and on and on. Like, we've found success with our offensive linemen in the mid to late rounds. Slauson was a 6th round pick. We found him. He started right away. And we find these guys. So it was good to see. But that said, McDermott came in at right tackle. And while he was not perfect, and there were pressures that came from his side, he played well. He played significantly better than we saw at left tackle. Now, the interesting thing, Frankie, and I'd like to, kind of segue a little bit. We can stay here, but a little bit outside of this to expand maybe. The first play that Conor McDermott was in, Mike LaFleur, I'm not sure if you remember what play it is. You may, because you have that kind of brain. But the first play, so Max Mitchell goes down, Conor McDermott, who's embattled at this point, right? He's had a rough go so far, anytime he's been on the field. You put him on right guard, right tackle, and the first play, LaFleur chooses to run a trick play, but behind Conor McDermott. He runs, I think it was Michael Carter, behind Conor McDermott. Then he throws it back to Zach Wilson, who was so blown away that Conor McDermott was actually holding his block that he dropped the damn pass. Right? It was mayhem. Now Zach saved it and the whole thing. And who knows, the play might have been brilliant and worked out. But what the hell is the thinking there, Frankie? Is it one of those scenarios where we've seen with offensive coordinators before? Brian Schottenheimer comes to mind, Paul Hackett. Like, they outthink themselves. Like, do you think he's like, nobody will ever think we're going to run behind the guy we just put in, and that's why we're doing it? When it's like logic would say, no, just don't do that. He's the weak link. Yeah. So I don't know. What did you think of that? When I saw that play, I was mortified. I was like, what the why is Michael Carter behind McDermott right now, his first play in the game? So what did you think that happened there? And what did you think of the overall madness?
Well, I think LaFleur kind of thinks of it like if this guy comes in, he needs to play. Like he needs to be able to hold a block. And
Right.
I'm not going to change my I think he is a little stubborn. I'm not going to change my play calling because we have McDermott in there. And I'm going to call the play that I would have called in any event. And if McDermott can't play, then we don't have enough depth here, and these players need to, step up and next man up and all that. So I just think he calls the play that he wants to call. It seems to me he doesn't compensate for McDermott being in there. I mean, the last game when McDermott was in there, you saw where he didn't keep tight ends in all the
Nope.
time. Sometimes he did. Sometimes we were max protecting, but for the most part, we were not. And we just did our normal stuff. And we were in 11 and we were in putting everybody out wide and everything else. So I think the philosophy is look, he needs to he needs to do his job. He's here to do a job. And if he can't do the job, why is he on the roster? You know,
Yeah.
so,
Right.
I think that's what the thought is like he needs to hold up and he needs to do his job. And some plays have a running back in to protect, sort of blitz pickup, help out. But that's what I think it is. It's just like that was the next play up for whatever the reason. I didn't love that play. I was like, what are we doing?
What are we
But
doing?
but I think that play would have been called regardless if Max Mitchell was in there or Conor McDermott or anybody else. I think we just call the plays that we think should be called. And if we can't block somebody, then you need to not be on the roster. Why are you here if you can't pass protect?
Yeah, and look, I see the logic there. I really do. Like I've said, even like with Grant Hermans, who I happen to like a little bit. I'm hopeful, right? I'm not going to put too much stock in him, but it's like if Grant Hermans, like when we're decimated, and if he can't be brought up, then why is he here? And if Conor McDermott cannot, like even that first move, if you have Conor McDermott on the roster, but you've chosen to use your right guard at left tackle over him, then
Yeah,
why
right.
is he here? So I do understand like the logic, Frankie, of if they can't play, I mean, like I'm putting you on the field. You need to know how to play. I understand that. At the same time, it spooks me a little bit that our regime, and we see this with the defensive calls. It's not the scheme. It's not the scheme. Now, right now, we're happy because we won and we're 2-2, and that's all great. But we do see this stubborn aspect of this particular regime where, like, just like you said, the play is getting called next. It didn't matter that our right tackle went down. It didn't matter the current situation. There was no adjustment to it. And like we've talked about, when a weaker link has to come in, protecting it, like accounting for it, not just, I'm running to the right. I don't care who's over, like that kind of talk. Now, does that spook you? Like, and like, again, I'm not jumping off a cliff. I'm not saying it's doom and gloom. I'm not on fire over here, but it kind of rings an old bell on the negative side of this. It's a little spooky for me. How do you feel about that with LaFleur? Does it bother you? Are you in favor of that thinking?
It worries me in that we need to be making adjustments all the time of many sorts. And so if we're just stuck in our thought process and stuck in our ways and we're just going to call what we call, that does worry me because the best coaches are the ones who make the most adjustments. Everybody knows that. In-game adjustments. I mean, Bill Belichick is famous for it, but the best coaches adjust to what's going on the field. And if you have a weakness, you protect the weakness. If the other team has a weakness, you exploit that weakness
Right.
and you attack it. And Bill Belichick's made a whole career out of that. So that does worry me a bit. On the other hand, maybe it'll work. I mean, that play didn't work, but overall, the offense was good. We had 4 good drives out of 11, if you think about it.
Right.
So is that successful or, it worked out.
Yeah,
We won
right.
and we played well when it counted. So that's great. But still, 4 out of 11 drives were scoring drives. That's
Yeah,
it.
and you know what right, and that's going to happen to a degree, right? You're not going to succeed on every play. That's why you have a punter, and of course. At the same time, hopefully we can shake this this idea, this pattern of ours, where when it's not working, it's atrocious. It's abysmal. It looks like we shouldn't even be here. You know what I mean? Like it really does swing that way. It's like, wow, look at Zach, 5 for 5. Ah! And then the other side is, he's running 30 yards backwards, flipping the ball out of bounds. It's like, what? We look like a clown show. So hopefully that pendulum swing, back and forth to the extremes will subside and settle a little bit. I think that'll come with comfort, right? That'll come with comfort and maturity and all those things. So I do hope that we can stop seeing that. But the point remains, man. It's like, I would look a great example. Tomlin, who we know is he's up top of the consistently strong coaches in the NFL. Up top. Now, he might not be the best this year, but he has a floor that's actually pretty high. We saw something from the word go. We saw two things. One is, right away, who did they go after, Frankie? They figured out a way with their offensive schematics. They know how our defense is going to respond, and they got single coverage on who? LaMarcus Joyner. Why? Why you think it's happenstance? That's not happenstance. That is by design. They figured out how they are going to get LaMarcus Joyner singly covering, whether it's Pickens or whoever the hell it is, Deion Johnson. So thankfully, LaMarcus Joyner decided, you know what? I want to be an NFL star. That's what I'm going to do. And he happened to make good. But that's what Tomlin came right out and went for the weakness that we have shown for the previous 3 weeks. Now, another thing happened, Frankie, that if I'm looking at it through an objective lens, makes so much sense. Now, I hated it on our end. When Trubisky proved yet again, like we were wondering, is it going to be Pickett? They have a couple extra days, blah, blah, blah. Nope. They're going to put Trubisky in there and they're going to see how he can play against this, questionable defense. There's little questions, right? If he doesn't do well and he fails, this is the team out of every NFL team in the NFL. This is the team to introduce your rookie right at the second half. We've seen it all throughout our history, man. It's sprinkled throughout every era. We have that game where the big introduction breakout game is us. And what was happening when they first brought him in? He was looking like the hero. They were dancing. He was jawing. He was laughing at our players. Ha ha ha. It was all happening. And the trend was broken. And you have to give that to our staff, our team, our coaches, everybody. You got to give that because that is powerful stuff. That's what the Jets are bringing. We have these so deeply carved into who we are, Frankie. These old, patterns. And so you look at Tomlin, he's going right for the jugular. He knows exactly. Now, we made good, but the odds were in his favor. I would love to be able to see our coaches, just like we're saying, we have a weakness, protect it, account for it. And when we have a strength, use it. And when the defense is, or the offense for that matter, has a weakness, that's where we're shooting for that exact point. That's the point of attack. Where the weak link is, we're going to exploit that. And I don't know if I see that as much from us, at least not yet, Frankie. You agree?
Yeah, it's you look at it and it makes sense because how did this genius coach Tomlin figure out that LaMarcus Joyner was the weak link? Oh, he looked at the tape.
Yeah, imagine that.
He looked at the tape and he said, "This guy stinks." And he said, "We're going to make LaMarcus Joyner beat us." And LaMarcus Joyner beat them. So you tip your cap to LaMarcus Joyner. Hey, great job.
Yeah.
But
so key.
But
So
the strategy was right, though.
Right.
From Tomlin. The strategy was right. This guy's been a weak link. He's doing weird, crazy things in the back end. Joe Blewett said, "This is the worst play I've ever seen a safety make in my life." What is he doing? Guarding Sauce Gardner?
Right.
This sort of thing. So Tomlin sees that too, and goes, "Hey, that's the guy to attack." And that was the right choice. And it didn't work out for him. LaMarcus Joyner won that day. And, hey, great for us. But But you see the strategy. Like we're
Right.
not going to keep doing what we're doing. We're not going to go after Sauce Gardner so much or DJ Reed. We're going after LaMarcus Joyner, and
Right.
that's what you do. And yeah, Trubisky couldn't get it done. I'm going right to Pickett. I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. I'm going to Pickett. Listen, get in there, Kenny. They
Right.
call him Kennywood here. Yeah.
Oh, Kennywood makes for good reason. I don't know if anybody knows, but Kennywood, a stellar amusement park, overlooks the city of Pittsburgh. It is, I mean, I was blown away. They actually got us in there for free last year, Frankie. They hosted us, as we like to say, and they gave us a tour. It was beautiful, man. What a great place. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Kennywood. Now, just like Broadway Browning Nagel, if he doesn't make good, that Kennywood shit's going out the window. You're fast, you know that? But that's the whole thing. Like Frankie just said, and I was alluding to a few minutes ago, the logic, the strategy is sound. And that's what, rather than sticking to our plan to a fault, you know, hey, I drew up 60 plays and I'm running them. You know what I mean? But the game changed. Yep. Well, it's play 34. So play 34 is next. Like, you know, I mean, and I can't say that that's definitely what's going on, of course, but we're using it as an example. And I would like to think that our coaches mid-game can see something. Ooh, that just happened. Now we're going to do this.
Right.
Like blood in the water. That's what we call it. When there's blood in the water, you know, you need to feast. You need to. It's
their key guy goes out, like a key cornerback goes out. Somebody like Xavier Howard or somebody really good goes out. The next guy can't be as good as Xavier Howard. It can't happen. So why not try him? Test them out.
Test them, right? Just like we saw last year with Buffalo. It just so like, look, I think it was Brandon Eccles got hurt. I'm pretty sure it was Brandon Eccles went down. He was starting for us. They take Javelin Guidry and they stick Javelin Guidry on the outside. And who's he lined up across from? Diggs.
Yep.
Diggs.
And he played him pretty well, but you attack him. You make the backup come in and do something. He's sitting on the bench for a reason. See what happens. And maybe he balls out. Okay, well, then we try something else. But you try it. It's just logical. So I agree. I'd like to see more of that.
Right. And from our end on that type of a play where, okay, you're choosing to put Javelin Guidry. He's a rookie. He's kind of only a nickel. Yes, he has the speed, but he's not really an outside cornerback. And you see that they attack him. It was out of bounds. It ended up going out of bounds. He caught it. And then they're going at it again. Maybe, just maybe, again, just like we're saying with the offensive line, with the accounting for McDermott, maybe account for that and slide his safety over there just to give him a little bit of help, some support, some loving. Nope.
At least,
and what happened?
Threaten to have the guy shade over there. Make Josh Allen think he's going there. How about a little deception, disguise, something?
Right on. Exactly. Well said. At least do that. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing. Like if we're going to build on this type of energy that we have, which clearly we're hoping that we can. If we're going to build on this sort of stuff, I think those types of adjustments are going to have to be a part of it. Now, maybe they're just not there yet. And look, we know where we are in our build. We know what we're trying to accomplish, and we're not there yet. We are trying to get them to our players to understand we need to stick to this. And once you get the foundation down, then we can hang the curtains. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not talking about the curtains yet. We're working on the maybe that's what they're doing. And look, I think the fact that we're 2-2, Frankie, and the fact that we've seen a team fight back in the fourth quarter twice in hostile environments, they're playing 60 minutes of football at 100% effort. I think that they've earned, especially if we beat Miami, I think they've earned a little bit more. Okay. We see what you're working on. We see that the team is changing. The culture's changing. They're not giving up. All those things are very important. Maybe maybe we do give them this year and let them work out their kinks and all that. So maybe Jonathan Francois, who, by the way, Frankie, I'm going to tell you about this guy. Number one, Jonathan, we're cool, right? We're good. Me, you, Jeremy, we're straight. We are, but we got to talk about a little bit. Jonathan Francois was so intense in the live stream, Frankie. I think he sent like 6 super chats to tell us how bad we were as a team. You know what I mean? So he was like really in the doom. and ended up turning around. And then he's claimed, thank God I was positive the whole game. And we had a lot of fun with Jonathan on Sunday. And Jonathan, I'll tell you what, I'm so glad it turned around. And we were able to have that fun at the end because boy, oh boy, was that a tough watch that third quarter. And anyway, so Jonathan Francois checks in. I now consider him a very close friend because of the ordeal that we've traversed together. Hello, guys. How would you rank the 16 AFC teams and where would you rank the Jets right now? Well, Frankie, this is kind of a homework assignment of sorts. This is 16 teams. Now, can not the top three, not the four in our division. He wants us to go to work. That's what he wants. Now, just off the top of your head, who's at the top? Where do you think the Jets? Give me a top 3, 4, and let's see where the Jets would fall from your perspective. Maybe you pull up the AFC on your computer.
Well, I will give you a shorthand. I do use a power rankings. For me, DVOA is the best power rankings. I like that. Some people may not like the Football Outsiders DVOA.
Yeah.
But I like DVOA power rankings because it's adjusted. It's value over average. It kind of tells you really are, even though you might have some wins that you really shouldn't have. There's a little luck involved. So what are you really? So to me, the power rankings are the DVOA rankings, and DVOA tells me Buffalo's number 1, the Eagles are number 2. The Ravens are number 3. The Jaguars are number 4, and they've been surprising.
Wow.
The Buccaneers are 5, Dallas 6, San Francisco 7. So that seems about right to me. And DVOA has us overall at 25 out of
25.
Yeah. Not 32nd.
So now trimming that's it, dude. Frankie, you gotta take a first step. You have to. You know what I mean? Like I said last year, you gotta be the best of the worst first. Go for being the best beat the Texans, beat the Jags, beat the, you gotta beat those teams. And then you can work on something else. When you end up pulling like we did with Tennessee last year, they were one of the NFL's top teams and we beat them. Everybody knows what that is. It's fun, it's exciting, but it's not indicative of how good or bad your team is. It's a trap game. And we know that. Now we can enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But we know now when you play your peers and you're able, just like we did last year, we were able to beat our peers last year. That's what we did. We beat the Jags, we beat the Texans. And so that's
our
really
peers
important.
are in the ghetto of the NFL. We're in the ghetto of the NFL.
But now we just took 7 steps forward. You know what I mean? And that's good. And that's a good thing. Now, right. So I think, Jonathan, I think I would put the Jets like at the bottom of the middle. Like that's kind of where I am. Now, 25, just my own thoughts on the matter. Like Frankie said, Frankie's using actual statistical numbers and a specific point of view with the DVOA, which I like as well. Again, I don't look at anything as the end all be all. I look at these things and go, collectively, this is what I'm looking at, right? But my opinion is that what I'm seeing is a Jets team that is starting to put things together and start to play well together. Like, look, the DVOA, Frankie, they're including that third quarter. I don't include the third quarter in my assessment of the Jets. I can't. I take that out, right? Of course.
It didn't even happen.
The way I see it, the Jets started really great. We held them. We got some picks. Zach drove down the field. We did the gritty. And then the fourth quarter, he was perfect. It's a great game. See what I mean? That's how it works.
Fan goggles. Those are fan goggles.
Yeah, right. And I know that, so that's the whole thing. Like, look, we watched this team. We've watched them for years, some of us for decades, and we kind of know what we're used to seeing in large part, for the most part, right? We know when it's good, when it's bad, and we know when the hope is legitimate. Like watching Josh McCown 3-2, he wrote throwing to Robbie Anderson and some other guy I think we had Javon Kerr, so that was kind of good. Like we knew that was paper tiger at best. We knew it. Like whatever they pull off this year, it's not real. We could enjoy it. And just like 2015, like that team was legitimately talented. At the same time, excuse me, at the same time, we knew this. They don't do it now. We're not going to be talking about, we're not going to have these players in 3 years. Like, this is not it. Rivas is getting fat. Brandon Marshall's in his 18th year. Decker's banged up and injured. Chris Ivory can't seem to make it through a season again. So all those things. Fitzpatrick, as we know, Fitztragic's coming. You know it. He's Fitzmagic and Fitztragic. So those kinds of things. But like what we're seeing now is we're seeing a young team, a team that they are building. They're not hired guns. They're not mercenaries. So they're bringing these guys up themselves. We got a young staff. We got a young team. We got a young GM. We got all these guys. And I think when we do see success, it means that much more because of those reasons. That's kind of what I'm seeing, Jonathan. So that's how that goes. Now, Frankie, before we get into the next switch, I want to remind everybody of something. This show is called The Thursday Thick of It. Number one, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. We appreciate that. It's really, really fancy and fun if you can hit that little like button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, that is also greatly appreciated. The little rectangular button right below the screen there, the video, go ahead and click it. Once you click it, you never got to think about it again. And again, it's greatly appreciated. I want to also remind you that the Thursday Thick of It is now sponsored by Manscaped. And we all know about Manscaped, Frankie. We've been hearing about it for a long time. We've been thinking about it, not for nothing. It's almost Christmas season, man. If you want to get something that's actually going to be appreciated, something that you'll actually use, you might want to consider some of the Manscaped products. Now, again, we're going to talk about them. They are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered, Frankie, precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package, which is what they sent to us and we are currently enjoying, is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and that is 12 million balls if you do the math, Frankie. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a couple guys in there that maybe don't have both. That happens, but pretty much we're talking about 12 million balls, 6 million men. And if you decide right now, which, by the way, guys, they're having all sorts of website deals, you can take that deal and combine it with our promo code GreenBean for an additional 20% off. Whatever the deal is on their website, if they're already giving 40% off, if you tack on GreenBean when you get to the final page of the cart, the checkout, you get an additional 20% off, and shipping is free as well. Now, Frankie, just so we can make sure that they know what it is we're talking about, do you have your lawnmower with you? Your lawnmower 4.0?
There you go. I mean, this thing, you want to stop being a hairy animal. You want to ask a girl out on a date and you're wondering why nobody ever says yes when you ask them. You might be too hairy. Clean it up. Clean it up. Refine your game, gentlemen. You might need this thing here. This guy's the nose hair, the ear hair. You think any ladies are going to like seeing your ear hair growing and your nose hair coming out of your nose? No, clean it up, gentlemen. Refine your game.
That's right. It's one of those things, guys. Nose hair is one of those things that it can just slip right by. But I'm going to tell you, even if you don't notice it, every single person you've come into contact that day, they noticed it. Every single one of them. And look at this thing. Look at that. You hear it? Right in the nose. Do it right now for you. Look at that.
Yeah.
My ear. It fits everywhere. It's beautiful. I actually love Manscaped's product. This is actually, in addition to the below the waist care, this is the device that I use to maintain the trademark of Greenbeanjetsfan, the beard. So again, you've been thinking about procuring some Manscaped products for years. Now is just about the best time to do so. Use our promo code for an additional 20% off. We will talk about some of their other products toward the end of the show with Jeremy and Wat2K are also using Manscaped products. And we're going to update you on their enjoyment and how they've been experiencing it as well. So thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring the Thursday Thick of It. We do appreciate it. And it's nice to be sponsored by a product that we actually like like legitimately like. So thank you again. And again, you can save 20% by using our promo code. So Frankie, there it is. We save balls. And that's really the whole point.
Tuesday. Manscaped saves your balls. Get some, gentlemen.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Like when it boils down, we just want to save our balls, Frankie. That's what we're talking about here. So what's come out of the ad for Manscaped? Thank you again, Manscaped. And get to our super chat from Matthew 13400. Thank you, Matthew. Week 5 starts flex scheduling. Now, this is an area where I'm not necessarily, it's funny. I never really understand why they're doing. I'm like, what? Why? But I get it. But so it's going to be interesting here. So this starts the flex scheduling window, we'll call it. We can play our way into Sunday night, end the era of disgusting primetime performances by the Jets, new regime inbound. Now, so what it's sounding like to me, Matthew, is that you would like to see the Jets get another primetime game. You know, we've slowly been taken out of the primetime, let's say. We don't even get 4 o'clock games all that often anymore. So you'd like to see us get a primetime game and make good. That's what he's talking about, I think, Frankie. Now, what do you think? Number one, would you prefer, if we're on a little bit of a hot streak, would you like them to flex us to 8 p.m. on a Sunday? Or would you rather just keep it? And when we do get up there, do you think we have a shot to like actually be legit? Or are we just going to get up there again and look stupid in front of the whole country? Are we ready for primetime yet, Frankie?
Well, let me say this. You know, this Sunday, who was the announcer?
Ian Eagle. No?
Was it Ian? I think it was either Ian or Greg Gumbel. But either way,
Ooh,
that tells you something. Ian and Gumbel and those people are the upper tier of CBS broadcasters. They gave them to us. That is a big step up. That tells you that the TV people say, hey, there's something going on with these Jetsies. Maybe it's Zach Wilson. Maybe it's Garrett Wilson, all the young guys and Sauce and all this. But that tells you something. We didn't get Andrew Catalon, and we didn't get the other one. I forget his name, but there's 2 at the bottom. And I think we're getting Kevin Harlan on Sunday. Kevin Harlan is like the top guy, I think. There's like a tier, and they have the top ones.
right.
But Catalan's at the bottom, and there's another one that I forget the name of. A dude, Spiro Dudu, right? Spiriditas. Those 2 are at the bottom. And those are the ones we always get. We have been getting the last couple of years. Now we're starting to see these other guys. So I think there's something to this. The TV people are realizing maybe there's something going on over here to put our best people on it. So that's interesting. And then the flexing, hey, if we get flexed into a Sunday night game, great. I don't really have any thoughts about it. I kind of would like to stay at Sunday 1 o'clock. Let us grow. Let us quietly grow and kind of surprise everybody at the end. That would be my preference. I'm not so sure we're ready for prime time yet, but if we get there and that's the case, okay, great. But I'm not too worried about it. I kind of like the idea of us just staying at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Let us do our thing. We'll sneak up on everybody, and at the end, you find out the Jets are in the playoffs. How about that?
Yeah, right. See that I'm kind of like that too, Matthew. I have to admit. I think I'm kind of where Frankie is. I get what you're saying, and I'm with you 100%, but I think it's not quite time. We need to let it simmer just a little bit more before we bring it to the contest, the chili contest. Let's let the chili reduce and thicken just a little bit more before we bring it out and get judged on it. Let's do that. So, right, Matthew wanting to see us flex to Sunday. Hey, maybe we will, man. Let me tell you this. If we beat Miami, who, by the way, and this was going to be the next thing I want to talk about, is want to transition to the Miami game, Frankie, a little bit. If we beat Miami, Matthew, and we end up 3-2, and then, not even to say this, but I'll say it. If Buffalo loses, we are literally in first place. Like, that's what we're talking about. Now, I don't want to even jump to that. It feels weird to even talk about it. I feel like it's illegal. I'm like, I'm not supposed to say that. And I start knocking on wood and all kinds of weird stuff. But if we beat Miami, heading into, who's next? Green Bay, is it? Is it Green Bay after Miami? Yeah. If we beat Miami and we end up going 3-2, I think the entire NFL will go, huh? And look this way at what's going on. That's what I think. I mean, I think there's, whispers, rumbling. We've had some exciting comebacks and all that. But by and large, Frankie and Matthew, for that matter, I think everybody's looking at the Jets like these wins are fake.
Yeah.
They're fake. It's when the other team made mistakes. It's when the other team thought the game was over in the Jets.
Right.
That's what they're thinking. And it's not to say there's not a case for that. But they're not real. If we go and beat Miami the first time we win in our division in many years, what is it, 4 years? I think since 2015. So 7 years. I think it is. Maybe we won one in 2019. I forget. But anyway, no matter how you slice it, it's been a while. It's been a few years since we've won in our division. If we can do that with a team, even though they're injured, Tua, Teddy and all this stuff, Xavier Howard might not play, even all those things. If we beat Miami, they are stacked and they are looked at as an up-and-coming team that can be very, very dangerous. If we beat them, I think that's when the eyes start to turn. Then if we go to Green Bay, and even if we play well, if we hang, and that's going to be the thing. Now, Frankie, though, talking about Miami real quick, I got in a whole thing on Twitter today, and I'm seeing all this stuff. My Miami fan friends, I got a little discussion with a friend of mine. It's all about their injuries. It's like they're already talking, like setting up in the event that you do win. Just know it's because we are decimated with injuries. And my response to this, Frankie, said, who has been more injured than the Jets? Did anybody sympathize or empathize? Nobody cared about the Jets. We have been the number one team on IR for, I think it was 3 years in a row, collectively. We were the worst. We had the most players on IR over that 3-year period coming into this season. So look at all, we lose quarterbacks. Even this year, we're on our fifth tackle, and our quarterback just came back for the first game all year. So it's one of those things. Yes, it's going to help us if Waddle doesn't play, or Xavier Howard doesn't play, or the other cornerback. What the hell is his name?
Byron Jones.
Yeah, Byron Jones. And then you have Armstead, who's nursing a toe. You know what I mean? So who knows, right? Of course, it'll help, but we're just as injured. You know what I mean? So do you think there's any credence to this, Frankie? And let me just ask you the real question. Do you give two shits about if you beat a team and they happen to be injured that week?
No. And I would just say those tears would be delicious as well. Thank you,
Frankie's drinking tears tonight.
We'll just drink those tears. And same thing as the Dolphin fans, we'll drink those tears up as well. They will be delicious. But this is football. You're going to have injuries. And if you don't have the resiliency, if you don't have the depth, you pay the price. I mean, to me, the most important, other than Tyreek Hill, probably injury on their team is Armstead. If Armstead doesn't play, that guy is so good. The drop off to the next guy has to be, significantly lower. So I would say that's even the most important guy if he happens to be out. But that being said, I always want every team to be 100% healthy. I don't want to see anybody injured. I'd rather beat you at full strength if I can, and that would be my preference. But at the same time, this is the NFL. Injuries happen. It's part of the deal. Look at any injury report for any team. Look at the Ravens last year. Look at even the Patriots last year were pretty injured. Look at the Bills this year. They had everybody out. The Bills had everybody out against the Dolphins. And so,
That's right.
this is the way it goes. And you need to have a resiliency on your roster. And if you don't, you don't. And,
that's it.
You can't cry about it. We didn't cry about it when everybody got injured last year, and Carl Lawson and these people. We understood it and said, hey, we were down to, we had to clean up the books, and we had to, we're first year of a down to the studs rebuild, and then we had injuries on top of it. So we understood why we were the way we were. But now that we're getting to a regular place, a non-McCagnon, non-Adam Gase place, for an NFL team, we have to have the resiliency too. We have to have tackles on tackles on tackles, and our practice squad is very important, and all these things. So I don't know, hey, keep crying. You'll fill up my cup with your tears. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and I feel the exact same way. And it's like, nobody remembers that stuff either. Like, and let me tell you something. When people look back, when you think back to a season 10 years ago, you look at the record, you know what I mean? You look at the overarching themes of the year. They were a good team. They were a comeback team. They were a terrible team. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, but that was that game that guy didn't play. It's like, it's very
more injuries now. Like the guys don't have the things they had back in the day to keep playing. Like now, there's way more injuries. I think there's the center for the Colts just went out. By the way, imagine being a Colts fan right now.
I know what happened there, huh? Look at that.
They thought they were playoff contenders. They can't score a point. What is going on?
And look, I had the number 1 pick in the fantasy draft, the number 1 overall pick. I've never even played fantasy before. I'm doing it with my son. Everybody, the consensus was, Jonathan Taylor, dude. Right. No question. Week 1, he gave me 25 points. Last week, he gave me 2. You know what I mean? It's like
now he's not playing.
Now he's out. Now he's out.
And now their center is out. Yeah. And this is the NFL these days. Injuries are part of it. That's why resiliency is so important. That's why you can't spend, I mean, you can, but it's risky to spend tons and tons of money on 1 and 2 players, because then you can't afford to have quality guys backing them up. And if they get injured, I mean, if they get through the year unscathed, okay, great, you got them. But if they happen to be injured, now you got a bunch of scrubs running around out there, and that's not going to go too well. In today's NFL, resiliency is the most important thing. Half the teams play on turf. That takes a toll on the body, as we all know. And that, so yeah, you can't say we're injured. Everybody's injured. Everybody's injured. It's just the way it goes. And it's just part of it sucks. I wish it wouldn't be. I wish everybody could be 100% healthy, because it's
like the old days.
I want Jonathan Taylor in this game. Like, I want to see him particularly. I don't want to see any old running back. I want to see Jonathan Taylor. And I want to see
the best.
Yeah, right. I want to see the best. I don't want to see the backups. But so that would be my preference. But the reality is, but the reality is people are out on every team every week, and you got to be resilient and step up. And that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. And look, Jennifer, just so you know, Jennifer Slattery, she said, I said, not even to say this, but I'll say it. Right. That's what, but I meant not even to focus on this, but I'll say it. Like, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but I'll say it. But thanks for catching that. That's how it goes. Now, Stephen Engel is trying to grump on our party here. We're not winning Sunday. You stop it, Stephen. Boo! Boo! I want to enjoy a night. Can't we, Frankie? Let's enjoy it, right?
I mean, if Zach fixes a couple of things, we haven't even talked about Zach Wilson, really. Yeah. But that game on Sunday, it wasn't perfect by any means. He made a bunch of mistakes and a couple of questionable things. But you see the talent, right? Like, I was thinking in that game, when you watch the tape back, you watch the all 22, the talent just comes off of the screen. And so even if he becomes a bust, I don't think you can fault the Jets for drafting him. I really don't. I don't know how you could see the talent that kid has and then say, well, we'll fix the other stuff. You just got to hit a few screen passes. You just got to be a little more accurate. You just got to learn to read a defense. We'll fix that. But the stuff you can't teach, he's got in spades. It's really phenomenal. It just jumps off the page, off the screen.
You know what? I could not agree more, Frankie. And, like, where I'm concerned about Zach Wilson is his ability, or inability, I should say, to peel off his number 1 read a lot of the time. Like, there were numerous plays where if he was able to go through those progressions a little quicker, dude, there's wide open guys.
Quicker. You got to read that guy's doesn't have it. Get to the second and third.
Get to the second and third.
Improve that. Now, can that be improved? Yeah, that happens all the time with quarterbacks, and they improve it, and some don't. So you can't. Nobody really knows if he's going to improve that, but you would think that with more experience and time, he will get better at that. You would think, but who knows? But yeah, that's 100% true. He needs to do that.
Right. Well, and I think your point is that's improvable. That's the thing. It's one of those things that you can work on. Like, look, feeling pressure behind you, you can't teach that. You can't work on that. You can try, keep you can do some things to maybe account for it, adjust to it. But Zach has those innate abilities, like being able to just get out of the way without even looking some of the time. He's just able to feel it and move and then juke another guy and make something happen. Now, truth be told, I would like to see less of that need to do that, but he has it, right? He has it. Now, when you look at his inability to kind of see all of the reads out, I mean, Garrett Wilson was open on that. So was Michael Carter, I believe, on the Jeff Smith interception. I mean, there was two things. Number one, he held on to it. He should have. Jeff Smith actually did get open.
Yeah,
but,
for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, but and that comes with my honest thoughts on that are Zach doesn't necessarily trust him yet in the same way that he does Elijah Moore. I mean, there were some, I'm sure you saw it. Like Robbie Sabo put out a little clip about the play to the deep out to Elijah Moore. And Zach Wilson trusted that he was going to be at that spot, threw it before he even made the cut.
That throw right there is what he can be. Like that is an example of this is the kind of quarterback he can be. That throw was a great throw. Timing, speed, excellent, everything. That's what he can be. But then that interception is also what he could be. And so, we don't know yet. But yeah, those things that he's not doing right now do seem correctable. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So like on the Jeff Smith thing, like maybe there is, it's just like, I need to see him open first. So I'm open, too late already. But meanwhile, Garrett Wilson was wide open.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even see that. So I really would like to see him improve in that. Game one, but he did struggle with that last year too. But again, I think there's so much to feel good about with him. My main concern, Frankie, and then we'll move into Mr. Magix has a very, very important comment that I love. But the main thing that we need to be concerned about is, like we said, Zach Wilson's is running all over the place. Some of it was his own fault, in my opinion, holding the ball way too long. You got to learn if everybody's covered, either run or get rid of it. You know what I mean? Just throw it towards one guy out of bounds.
Quicker. He just needs to get quicker with his brain game.
Right. So, but the thing is, Frankie, is that he's got a little ankle tweak this week. Salo said it's nicks and bruises, but still, I'd rather not have heard that he had an ankle tweak this week. I mean, especially coming off of the 3 games where, look, we got him for 1 game. He's doing all kinds of crazy, maybe the craziest we've ever seen him, quite frankly. I mean, that was nuts, some of that stuff. And he's got a little ankle tweak. I really would like to see Zach Wilson get a lot more opportunity to sit in the pocket or design rollouts where there's no stress on the ankle. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we protect the kid? I mean, because, when he does have time to throw, I think the stat was 65% completion percentage when kept clean in that game. I think it was
amazing.
So he can be, and that's what you can do. If you protect him, that's what he's going to do. And that'll give him enough time to go from 1 to 2 to 3, if need be. Part of the problem is it's a combination of things. He's holding the ball too long, but also the pressure's coming and he feels a little pressure. And now he's just starting to move. So he can't find the second guy or the third guy because he's moving. And then, so it's a combination of things, but
that all can be worked on. And that's the good thing. I mean, it's exciting, man. And we have a lot of talent on this team. And I think Zach's, look, the sky is the limit with him. It might fail, it might never reach, but we have it. There's talent. Now, Mr. Magix is checking in, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Magix, for the super chat. He says, I think he just went on the Manscaped page, Frankie. He says he went in there. He just saved $139.61 on the Platinum Pack. He saved $139. If I don't get laid in 30 days, I'm getting a refund. Well, look. And that's, that's based on
we save you all this money. We save you all this money. And then on the other hand, you have to be guaranteed sex. I mean, what about, you can always have sex with yourself, Mr. Magix. That's always available.
And the fun part about it is after you use the Manscaped products, you're going to be smooth. You're going to be so
nice. Attracted to yourself. It's right.
You're going to be like, it's going to feel like you might be with someone else. Somebody new. So that's the thing.
We save them all. We save Mr. Magix all this money, and then on top of that, we have to guarantee that something else happens. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I know we're limited. It's like on Frankie, like I'm a superstitious Jets fan, right? So on Sunday, I wore for the first time the sauce jersey that was given to me by a man, Anthony, and his friend. Well, I want to say, I forget already. I suck. What is it? Anthony and I want to say Clemenza, but that's from The Godfather, and that's not it.
Menza.
Anyway, these two awesome guys, I met them 2 years in a row. They gave me a sauce jersey. I wore it for the first time this Sunday, but I was wearing it with this hat, right? And then it got hot, so I'm wearing my black sauce jersey. I'm wearing it. We're doing great. And then it gets hot, and I take it off. And then, whatever. And then and I was eating Doritos and later on, and the chat's telling me, dude, number one, you got to put the hat back on. Number two, start eating those friggin' Doritos again. And I said, oh, that's right. I can do this. This is my contribution. And guess what? We won.
It was all about the Doritos.
That's it. God or the universe, the football gods were saying, look, if he eats the Doritos, we'll do it. If not, consistency. Well, thank you for going on there, Mr. Magix. I appreciate even the comedy of this one. So thank you. And look, guys, that's what we're talking about. The savings right now are more than ever before. And it's a great opportunity to get some great products. So thank you. Now, Frankie, going over to what is this? GreenBean just prepare everyone for not. Well, I don't know, Finn's Doc. I don't know. I'm just talking about what I see. I'm not preparing. I mean, think he's trying to. So he's been lurking. He's clearly a Dolphin fan. He does the fins up thing. This is what he does, and he goes to the games, Frankie, and he looks like this. That's what he does. So he's trying to say that I'm trying to say that I'm not setting anybody up for anything. I'm just saying I'm nervous. My quarterback. He's not out. Yours is out. But the thing is with Teddy Bridgewater, it's Frankie. I'm not. I've seen a lot of Jets fans saying like, "Hey, man." It's Teddy, it's like they're kind of, happy about it. I'm not happy it's Teddy. I would love to see any other backup quarterback, most anyway.
Did they see the Denver game last year?
That's what I said.
When Teddy beat us 24-0.
You know he shut us out last year.
And without Jalen Waddle and without Chase Edmonds and without Mike Gesicki and without all these people, he beat us 24-0. Hello. And with a rotting corpse of Vic Fangio coaching the team. And then now they got a fresh new offensive genius McDaniel over there. Come on. This is not going to be easy because of Teddy. Get out of here. I don't believe that in a second.
I feel the same way. I mean, look, the only benefit is that maybe Teddy's a little rusty. He got to play something.
He doesn't have the same chemistry with the
correct.
Maybe.
Correct.
Maybe.
So some of that and look, that stuff's viable. It's real. I mean, that stuff, it takes time to get those, that telepathic relationship with the skill guys and all that. But that said, Teddy Bridgewater is a pro. He's been a professional starting NFL quarterback for many years. Obviously in Minnesota, if it wasn't for that devastating knee injury that knocked him out for over a year, I mean, he might have won the Super Bowl up there. I mean, he was great up there. Very, very good. The Jets signed him, got a 3rd-round pick for him. He went down to New Orleans and he came in for Drew Brees, played 5-6 games, looked fantastic. He looked good enough, Frankie, that Matt Rule won. I mean, there were other teams competing for Teddy Bridgewater that offseason. They gave him a 3-year, $63 million contract. And Matt Rule, in his ultimate wisdom, clearly his decisions have just been nothing but sound since he's gotten there. But he decides, rather than continue with a guy, by the way, he gave Robbie Anderson 90 receptions. DJ Moore looked good. Like they were okay. He played a decent year. He sends them to Denver for a 6th-round pick, and meanwhile takes his own 2nd, 4th, and 6th to the Jets for the 32nd ranked quarterback. And by the way, I'll send Teddy over there for the 6th, and I'll pay 2/3 of his contract too. So I don't know. So Teddy Bridgewater, man, again, he went over there. He shut us out. He put 24 points on our defense last year. So I think Teddy Bridgewater can be just as dangerous. Maybe not just, but he's up there. He's somebody not to overlook, in this Miami game. And I'm a little concerned about it. I would much rather Chad Henne be coming in right now. You know what I mean? Somebody like that.
Bridgewater is a quality quarterback. They're paying him up to, I think it's 6 million guaranteed, up to 10 if he has incentives. So a $10 million quarterback. I mean, think about it. We paid Flacco to come here and be a backup, 3.5 million guaranteed, up with up to 5 million in incentives. So Bridgewater gets up to 10 million in incentives. So that tells you what kind of market there was for him. He's
Yeah.
solid. He's not going to be terrible. I mean, he's just a solid quarterback, and with the weapons they have, they could make him look like John Elway. I mean, we made Jake Brisket look like John Elway.
Yes, we did.
So what are we going to do with Teddy Bridgewater?
That's right. That's our role in the NFL. That's why Tomlin has thought this is the perfect time to stick Pickett in there. These are the guys that do that. And for a little while, we did.
Yeah,
we did do that.
So I don't think there'll be a big drop off with Teddy. They're still a very, very tough team no matter what.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Now they do have some injuries. Obviously, the one we're talking about, Tua, is out for this game. We were watching that game last week, and it was you saw the injury first, said, guys, like, something's bad. And when we turned and we all watched it together, that was downright creepy, man. I mean, like, sincerely, like, my stomach dropped.
Yeah.
Very, very concerning. So, hey, they're taking it seriously, which I think is probably a good idea. But they have some other injuries, Frankie. So, but we have injuries again. I mean, how many teams are on their fifth tackle? How many teams had to sign 2 offensive tackles off of practice squads last week? How many teams did that? Right. So how many teams took their right guard and stuck him at left tackle after signing 2 tackles and having a left tackle? Like, how many teams did that? So that's us. And we're still just getting our quarterback back into the lineup. So Mr. Forte reminds me that I didn't just wear this hat and the Sauce jersey. There was a green jersey underneath, a green t-shirt underneath. That might be the linchpin. That might be the whole thing, the cotter pin that holds the ride together there, Mr. Forte. So thank you for reminding me. I will, in fact, have the entire ensemble. I got to remember what pants I was wearing. I don't know if I got to make sure. I got to see if I can figure that out.
You got to make sure. Did you have your Manscaped underwear? That's the question.
Damn straight. I'm always wearing them. I have 3 pairs of Manscaped underwear, and that covers the week. That's good. Right?
Sure. That could work. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Why not? Why not? So yeah, man. So, let's talk about a little bit about Sauce Gardner, Frankie. I want to say Sauce Gardner has an interesting PFF. He has 11 solo tackles, 19 targets, which is 4. He's tied for 43rd most targets for cornerbacks. He's allowed 9 receptions, which is 73rd. He has a 71.1 overall rating, which is stellar, by the way. But I think that's a little bit of an illusion. Those 9 receptions, like, hey, receptions are fine, but very similar, not comparing him to, but just using it as a reference point. When Revis would give up 3-4 receptions sometimes to a game, but they had a collective 18 yards, 21 yards. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing from Sauce. Like, yes, anybody's going to get beat from time to time. It happens. But overall, I think this guy is playing very, very good football, Frankie. And I'm really excited for him and DJ Reed to have the opportunity to play a few years together and become a tandem, together on this defense. What do you think about Sauce Gardner and how he's been playing? Somebody told me that, a couple of his great plays could have very easily drawn pass interference. So, I mean, I don't know, but where do you stand on Sauce Gardner? Are you excited? Are you a little bit tenuous, or where are you?
No, if you watch the film, the kid's always in phase. I mean, it's unbelievable for somebody his size with his length. Very, very tough to get him out of phase. And then secondly, he's very smart on that pick that MC2 had. He made a great play. He made an adjustment, came up, covered him, knocked it in the air, and MC2 picks it off. So he's playing great. Any cornerback in the NFL on any play that they make, you could say could be pass interference. That's just the nature of the business. But one thing I have noticed about that, if you remember back to Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie, Cromartie and Revis could do the same thing, and Revis would get away with it, and Cromartie would not. If you remember, Cromartie would always get the flag thrown. And why was that? He was not a very smooth, fluid athlete. He was a very good athlete and very fast and all that. but he was kind of jangly. Like, his body movements weren't as fluid and, like that. And Revis was just smooth, a smooth
Yeah.
criminal. And Sauce is like that. Sauce, and I said it when he was at Cincinnati, he's a smooth criminal. So whatever little things he might be doing, it's because he's smooth. And there's a reason for that. There's a talent. There's an actual talent there that's being utilized. And it's called being a smooth criminal, I think. So that you do see that, and that's really interesting. And DJ Reed has that a bit too. So we might have two guys kind of like that. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Darrelle Revis. I'm just saying that similar quality. I have noticed that, and he is very smooth. I mean, it's hard to get him. He's made some mistakes. He hasn't been perfect. He needs to improve his tackling for sure. He hasn't been great there, but I don't mind that so much. Let him get into his NFL body. Let him bulk up a little before he starts knocking people out. No problem. So he can improve on his tackling, but otherwise in coverage, I mean, he's been really, really solid. There's just no two ways about it. Watch the film. I mean, it's hard to deny. Even when they don't throw at him, there's a reason they don't throw him much at him. I mean, he's got guys covered like a blanket.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel the same way. I think, what an exciting young player he is. And, I think coupled with DJ Reed, I mean, what an amazing, turn for this defense. Look, they drafted 3 cornerbacks in last year's draft, and we got to see all of them. The one that stuck as a starter is Michael Carter II, who I absolutely love. I think he's fantastic. Ended up coming away with an interception himself this past week. I think the play was by LaMarcus Joyner, right? Wasn't it LaMarcus Joyner that made the play?
Sauce.
Sauce. That's right. Sauce right
comes
on that
up, covers
go.
Freiermuth, goes up with him, knocks it up, and
That's right.
so it was a great play by Sauce, and then a great play by MC2. It was awesome.
That's right. Yeah, that's the one. They said that Sauce Gardner baited him into that throw. That was the word. So yeah, it's really interesting. Now, Frankie, dovetailing with this little love fest for our cornerbacks and if you had to kind of focus on like putting Sauce maybe on one receiver more than the other, who would you rather see him taking care of? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle? I think DJ Reed kind of gives me the idea that he might stick with these quicker guys a little bit better than Sauce. Big cornerbacks traditionally have some difficulty with these shifty types. What do you want to see if you had to kind of see Sauce on one of these guys more? Who would you rather see him on? And then where do you place DJ Reed?
Well, if I had to, of course, I hate to tell everyone we're going to play a lot of zone, but if I had to, the question was, if I had to, I'd probably put Sauce on Waddle and let DJ Reed run with Hill. Tyreek Hill's a problem because no one can run with him. Nobody. Like, he's the fastest human on earth. Like, you can't pretty much. So no matter who you put on him, you're going to be, that's why you can't. But if I had to, I guess I'd put the smaller guy on him, I guess. Let Sauce try and cover Waddle. And Gesicki's also a problem. Then Cedric, I think they have, what's his name? Cedric Wilson. I think he's healthy. He's their third receiver. He's also good. I mean, they got people all over the place. So they're a problem. That's why I think we're going to be in a lot of zone. Might be in 2-man, for example, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I would think put the smaller guy on Hill and put the bigger guy on Waddle, I guess, if I had to.
Yeah.
But it would be a challenge. Those guys are really good.
Really good. And if you don't like 100% like focus on really playing them, just giving them the best game you have, they will slice and dice you to death.
I mean, the best way to cover them is to sack Teddy. Like that's
it.
The best way to cover those dudes is just to sack Teddy. Make sure he can't throw it to them. And that's really. And that is actually going to be part of the plan, because one of the weaknesses of their team, especially if Armstead is out, is the offensive line. It's pretty good. It's been okay, but there are some weak points on it that you can attack. And that, I think, could be one of the keys where you look at it and say, all right, where do we match up? Well, we could, we could exploit maybe some of the weaker links on the line, especially if Armstead's out, because he's so good. And that would be the idea. Like, let's get to Tua. Let's get to Teddy. Let's knock the ball down. Let's sack him, like that. So,
Yeah, well, look, wasn't it Joe Douglas? I feel like it was Joe Douglas that said, after the, I think it was a little bit after the Tyreek Hill trade that never happened for us, that he ended up going to Miami. But he said the best way to take a wide receiver like him out of the game is to get to the quarterback. I mean, that's the way to do it. I think it was Joe Douglas. Might have been Saleh, but I think it was Joe Douglas.
Yeah.
And that's really the ultimate goal. Now, I think one of the ways to help achieve that, Frankie, would be to get our cornerbacks up on these guys in some press and aggressive defense. Actually, I mean, look, they're in danger of getting lost by their exceptionally surgical route running, these two guys. I mean, they're crisp. At the same time, stuffing them at the line, knocking them off their beam for a split second can give your guys that extra snap just to get there, just to be able to get there. And even if you don't get home, disrupting the pocket so it's not, going according to plan for Teddy Bridgewater, who, look, he's known he can move around. He's not Joe Flacco. At the same time, he's not necessarily Lamar Jackson either. So I think that's the way to do it. In my opinion, I'd like to see our guys pushing them around a little bit, closer to the line of scrimmage. And then this has to be the game. And maybe it is, Frankie, game 5, that this defensive line of ours, coming off a 3-sack game with numerous pressures, maybe this is the game that they really come together and create the impact, the necessary impact on a team that we've been kind of hoping that they would be when we put this line together. You think that's possible?
Yeah, it's very possible. We have been playing pretty well. I think that Carl Lawson's just getting better and better as he gets his sea legs under him. I saw his hand usage improve significantly in the last game, which was nice to see. So I think he's improving, after the injury. It'll be interesting to see how much we blitz. We tend not to like to blitz much. This might be a game where we might want to take a chance. It's sort of like a high risk, high reward thing. You're going to put, Sauce and DJ on an island with those guys and blitz. Good luck. But if we get home, it's high risk, high reward. That might be a strategy we try. That'll be interesting to watch. But yeah, I mean, the design of this defense is that the 4 dudes on that line have to get home, and so we can have everybody else in coverage to help out. So that's the general theory with the defense. So yeah, but I mean, Q is playing really well. I think Lawson's improving. I mean, Jermaine Johnson's playing really well. He's only getting 20 snaps a game for some reason.
I know.
But
and look, and Frankie, on that note, they put Bryce. So they finally activated Bryce Huff.
Yeah, they activated
9
Bryce Huff.
plays, 3 pressures, and the Quinnen Williams sack was directly impacted by Bryce Huff's. What he was able to do on this from the end position. I mean, the guys,
that's by design. If you think about it, remember what Ulbrich said back in the day? He said, "With this defense, there will be no pocket," and we all said, "Whoa, what?"
We like
Excuse
that.
me? There will be no pocket. Well, that's what he was talking about. He was talking about the edges coming in, collapsing it, and then, Quinnen and JFM and whoever's in there, putting so much pressure in the middle that there is no pocket to go into. And so that's the idea. But then again, we tend to insist upon Nathan Shepard getting on the field for some reason. And so there's that.
I know Nathan Shepard and Solomon Thomas. Well, look, having them,
all right. But Nathan Shepard,
he's not doing anything. I mean, everybody else is outplaying him. Everybody except Nathan Shepard. Everybody's outplaying him.
But we don't have anybody else. Who are you going to bring in? Nathan Shepard? So, to me,
sorry, go on.
To me, I don't understand why we can't solve this problem by doing what Snowball says here. Just move JFM permanently inside, which is what we said in the offseason, given all these edges that we have. And Vinny Curry's coming back now, too. So what are we going to do with him?
I know. What are they going to do with him now? Do they feel obligated to give him his last year in the, whatever it might be?
Play him at defensive tackle. But anyway, you could solve this problem by putting JFM on the inside permanently, increasing Quinnen's snaps a little bit more. Not going to kill Quinnen to play 5 more snaps a game. He wants it. He wants it. Give it to him, Albrecht. Yeah. He wants it. He's demanding it, right? So you put JFM permanently on the inside. Your 4 tackles are JFM, Quinnen, Solly, Rankins. Rankins is playing well. That's interesting.
Very well, actually. He had, I think, his best game as a Jet in Cincinnati, against Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's playing
So,
real well. So that's
yeah.
that's a nice development. But then you have all these edges. You have Jermaine Johnson, you have Michael Clemens, you have obviously Lawson, and all these people. Huff. So you could solve this problem very easily. But that's why that's one of the things I don't understand about
Yeah.
this. But hey, if it works out and we play well, I won't question it. But if we don't, then then I will.
Well, right. And this just like, I mean, the example of the week for the, to support the coaching staff is LaMarcus Joyner, right? And
Right.
Corey Davis to a lesser extent.
Yeah,
But
right.
I mean, it's example number one. It's their shining jewel that they can, it's a receipt that they can hang out in front of everybody. See, you got to trust us. And okay. The other thing though, with JFM, and they're sticking with it. I mean, he's a starting defensive end.
I
There
know.
were numerous times, and even Dom C was breaking it down on Jets Chaos last night with Wat2K and Jeremy. I mean, it was something that we noticed in the game, but he broke it down very, very well. JFM gets manhandled. His responsibility is outside, and you can see, because there's one thing you go, well, maybe his responsibility wasn't to do that. It was to be the outside. He gets smoked, and it happened a couple of times. Like, he's not able to seal the edge, which is so important to contain. It's one of the most, other than getting to the quarterback, it's the second most important job of a defensive end, in my opinion.
It's so annoying. This is super annoying. Like, why is it that we can see that? Dom C can break down the film, but Albrecht can't? What are you looking at, Albrecht? Why is this guy on the outside? If
Why?
he's not even going to be great at it, and we have a weakness on the inside, and he can play the 3 tech, what
And
the hell and you have all these other people.
right. And we have an abundance
Yeah.
at the defensive end. And even if it is guys, like, look, JJ should be starting over there. All right. On the
Agreed.
left side, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
secondarily, you have Bryce Huff, you have Michael Clemens. These guys in spot duty are coming in and having more of an impact in many cases than the guys they're replacing. Again, Bryce Huff, 9 plays, 3 pressures. Michael Clemens, he had 19 plays and he had 3 tackles and a tackle for a loss. And it's like, these are all you have to do to solve this is move JFM inside, and Nathan Shepard, sorry, you got to sit the fuck down and be a damn backup. That's what you
Right.
are. You're a backup. Maybe we get you in, for 4 or 5 plays a game just to give somebody a rest or whatever. That's fine. Rankins is earning his spot, but in my opinion, Shepard and Solomon Thomas, I mean, they're the weakest 2 links, and it can all be solved. So yeah, and it seems like that's the thoughts in the chat as well. Let's see how it goes, man. By the end of the season, we might be saying, "Thank God they kept JFM on the end. He's leading the league in sacks." I mean, who knows? But right now, it's interesting. It's not what we all thought should happen. The results are not supporting that it's still happening, yet it's still happening. So let's see. Utah Jets fan, thank you for the super chat. Just bought my first ever NFL jersey, a green Brees Hall jersey, because this man is bound to be good. Who else's jersey do you all suggest I get? Well, number one, congratulations, right, Frankie? It's a beautiful thing to procure, choose and bring it in your first NFL jersey. I'm happy that it's Jets. Congratulations, Utah Jets. It's a big day, right, Frank? It's a big moment.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. And the fact that it's Brees Hall, I love that you went with a rookie, a very talented rookie whose impact has already been seen. I will say this, Utah Jets fans, since we're all friends here, we're all, except for Finn's Doc, we're all on the same page here. We're all friends. And you're our friend too, Finn's Doc. You're being cool in the chat from what I've seen. You look okay. You're welcome here. But Brees Hall, as much as I love him, and I think he's probably every week we're going to see a little bit more of him being the featured back, in my opinion. He's got to hold on to that damn ball, man. Even Rich Eisen, the big play, the big touchdown. Rich Eisen said, and he had the same response as all of us. Yeah, no. It was like the biggest thing in the world. He said it was a kick in the nuts. That's what he called it. He said the Jets just kicked me in the nuts again. If that fumble stood, if he didn't cross the plane, like, it was such a dangerous thing to stick it out there. But the kid has to do a better job holding on to the ball. He's got fumbles, drop passes, and that one didn't go, the way that we feared. Thank goodness. But all of his talent aside, the main thing for a running back next to availability, being healthy, is ball security. So I think it's a great choice. Number one, I actually considered it. I considered a Breece Hall jersey. Not quite there yet, but I'm proud of you for doing it. Frankie, give us a suggestion for if he's going to go out and buy another one. Number one, what color you getting, and which player do you think he should back up the Breece Hall jersey with?
I'd say go with the black. I think the black looks slick. And number two, I would go with the guy that Daniel Jeremiah just ranked as the best rookie in the NFL so far. His name is Sauce Gardner. Number one on Daniel Jeremiah's list. Numero uno.
Not bad. Hey, that's pretty good. Number one. Good. Not bad.
Can't be any higher.
Can't be any higher. And it just so happens that's his number, too.
Yeah.
So
I think I'd go with Sauce. I'd go with Tabasco Island.
There you go. Hey, being number one while wearing the number one, it's not everybody that can do that. It's not every day you see it. I support that as well, but I'm going to throw out another option for you. And Frankie called this guy our MVP so far. I'm not. I think I might be leaning towards an AVT jersey, Utah Jets fan. AVT, obviously he's in Utah. Maybe you want to get a Zach Wilson. I don't know. But to have some fun, having an AVT jersey, that's pure. That's like going in hard.
That's a good idea, because a lot of people would look at you with an AVT jersey and go, that's a real fan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is a guy who understands football. He's got an offensive lineman's jersey. Excuse me?
Right.
So if you want to go for that, I'd go for that.
Yeah, well, that you're 100% right, and that's what I meant by you're going in like deep.
Yeah.
Most people are going to get a skill position in some, whether it's a cornerback, whether it's a wide receiver, running back. Most people do that. When you go ahead and you get yourself an offensive lineman jersey, that means something. It means something. That guy's legit. So if you want to be legit, there you go.
I think I might get me an AVT jersey.
There you go. Now, let me ask you this. If you get an AVT jersey, you going to put AVT on the back? Like Sauce? Like people are doing Sauce? The guy's name was Carmelo. Anthony and Carmelo. That's what it was. Sorry. Thank you. There you go. The guys who gave me the jersey. But not Clemenza. It was Carmelo. I think that's what. But anyway, you know how like my jersey says Sauce? It doesn't say Ahmad. It says Sauce. Would you get AVT or you going Vera Tucker?
I think Vera Tucker. I like Vera Tucker. He has Vera Tucker. Like, I would want to have what he has. If he has Vera Tucker on his jersey, I want to pay homage to the man.
I like it.
I would get whatever he exactly has on his back.
I like how you think. I think I would go that way as well. If anybody has an AVT jersey, let us know in the chat. I'd love to applaud you and give you some warm loving, because that's a good jersey to get, man. Now, that all said, it is time for Watu-K and his Jets trivia. Now, I can't even, I'm so burnt out, Frankie. We lost last week, didn't we? I think we lost. So we got to get him.
I think we won.
You think we won? I think we lost. So anyway, let's get ready, everybody. We're going to see if we can continue our winning record against the greatest trivia master on earth, Virginia Jets fans, president and CEO of New York Sports Jets Media. There he is, Watu-K with the Lawnmower 4.0. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, gentlemen. How are we doing tonight?
Good. Coming in hot. I like Wicker. Watu-K comes in hot. He's trimming hairs immediately right off the bat.
That's it. He's right.
Yes, it's like you are here.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, that flashlight, I mean, we're just playing with them, but do you realize how this is the thing that sold me on Manscaped? It's the flashlight. Do you realize how incredibly beneficial it is when you're going down into the dark, cavernous reaches of your what is it called? Nether regions. Nether. That's what I was searching.
I'm sure that's somewhere in the newspaper.
Right. I bet it is. So this, it's just brilliant. It's brilliant. What a great idea. So Watu-K, welcome to the show, man. We're going to bring Jeremy on in a few minutes as well. I want to get his take on a few things. Jeremy from Jets Chaos, our producer, is in the back. as well. I heard that he's turncoating, Frankie. We'll talk about that when Jeremy comes on. But Wat2K, how are you, brother?
Hey, it's been a pretty good day, all things considered. Another thing, it's not just the lawnmower and the ear and nose trimmer, but you also get your crop reviver, because when it gets cold out, those crops do tend to die and fade away. And don't forget the crop preserver, the ball deodorant. And I got to tell you, it's got a great scent to it, very fresh. Absolutely fantastic. So it's not just trimming, but you also want to maintain and keep it smooth down there, like a smooth criminal. That's right.
That's right. Smooth criminal. And when Jeremy comes on, we'll do an official closing, just quick ad for Manscaped as well. But thing is, they sent us the products and we're actually using them. And we've talked. We love them. It's the truth. This is actually good stuff. If you can imagine that, not a product that you just looks like, Howard Stern with Snapple. Snapple, raspberry tea. He's not drinking this stuff. But anyway, we're using the Manscaped stuff. So Wat2K, you got to remind me, did you win last week or did we win last? I feel
yes, I won last week. Last week was the John Booty question.
Oh,
yes.
I don't even remember that.
John Booty, that's right. Let me just say, Harlan. Yeah, that's what it was. Clemenza's from The Godfather, but thank you. So anyway, go on. I'm sorry. I just wanted to acknowledge that. But Sneakers to Boots has an ABT jersey, everybody. So there you go. There's that. So we lost last week. Now, we're going to tell you the rules real quick. Let's take the comments off real quick. Let's tell you the rules, everybody. Wat2K is going to bring out a Jets-related trivia question. We have 4 minutes to make the answer and try to get it right. The hope is that nobody uses Google, Bing, or any of these other search engines. We want to try to do it with our minds. But the chat can answer, Frankie, myself can answer, and Jeremy is going to answer as well. So Wat2K, what do you got for us? We're ready to beat you again. That's what we are. Tell us, what do you got?
I think this week you're the Steelers and I'm going to be the Jets. How do you like that?
I like it. There you go.
No, I think this is going to be I have a feeling. I was telling Jeremy about this question last night, and I said, I got a feeling they're going to get it quickly or they're not going to get it. I think it's going to be one or the other. So this week I've been doing something that actually in the last day I've started to do something I've never done as a Jets fan. I am on YouTube and I was watching the infamous Jets-Dolphins game from 1986, the Kenny O'Brien, Dan Marino shootout, the 51-45 game.
Let me ask you, did you find the whole game and was it good?
The whole game. Yep, you can find it.
I got it. I got to go get it. And
it's there.
Thank you. If you could send me the link.
Yeah, commercial free. I'll send you the link after the show for sure.
That's Beanbaggers. That's the game we're going to watch next week. If you guys don't know, we have a private group, a Patreon group that supports the channel. The Beanbaggers, every month we get together in a Zoom room and we watch a classic New York Jets game. We just watched the Midnight Miracle this past month. In October, we are going to watch the 1986 Kenny O'Brien, Dan Marino shootout, 51-49, I think it was. We're going to watch that the last Wednesday of the month. Thank you, Wat2K.
Yeah, 51-45 in OT. Now, the Jets in that game scored 7 touchdowns, 7 of them. It seems like the Jets have had seasons lately where they haven't scored 7 touchdowns all season.
Right. It's totally true.
So in that game, number 85, Wesley Walker scored 4 touchdowns. Your challenge tonight is who scored the other 3 touchdowns. And your time starts now.
All right, time is gone. So just to recap it, in that game, the Jets scored 7 touchdowns. Wesley Walker was responsible for 4 of them. Who scored the remaining touchdowns? Now, one was Freeman McNeil. I remember it clearly.
You're not remembering it very clearly.
I remember. You're wrong.
Play that game.
You're wrong.
I know you want every trivia answer to be Freeman McNeil.
Freeman McNeil.
It is not the case.
I remember it around the right side. I can see it in my brain. I can't believe it. If it's not that game, that's crazy.
He did not. He was not.
Kenny O'Brien.
He was not in that game. He was injured. Kenny O'Brien is incorrect.
Oh.
Okay. So why don't we throw out?
Yep, Jeremy got that one. Johnny Hector. He actually scored 2 touchdowns in that game. So you've got 2 of them. There's only
Johnny
one left.
Hector. Now let me see. Knobcraft's talking about raspberry flavored Snapple. It's got beaver ass in it, he says.
How do you know what that tastes like, Knobcraft?
Who
How do you know
knows?
how do you
So
know
I'm
that?
with Bradigan. I'm going to say Tune.
Altoon.
Altoon is incorrect.
Ooh. And it wasn't Stephen Hill, TJ Decker. Just going to go out on a
Mickey
limb.
Schuler.
Mickey Schuler had a pretty good game. However, he did not score a touchdown in that game.
God damn it.
Unbelievable. I know it'd be nice if Frankie came around the mountain and just closed it down. What about Bruce Harper?
Bruce Harper, he wasn't on the Jets anymore at that point.
No.
No.
You know, I want to say I'm almost feeling like it might have been defense, but I don't know. I feel it was such a beautiful shootout. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm psyched. I can't wait to watch that game again.
I made sure with Jeremy that you guys hadn't watched that game yet on the plate, because then it would have been really easy.
Yeah, right. I know.
had
That
to
would be
think
like
on
fresh. Come on, chat. We only got a few more minutes. George
Who was
Sauer
returning
was
kicks
gone.
for us.
What's that?
Who was our kick returner at that point in time?
I don't know. I want to say JoJo Townsell.
JoJo
It is-
Townsell.
It is not. No, Nick Shine's favorite name in Jets history. It is not JoJo.
Not
Got it.
JoJo.
Damn it.
Got a
Who was
minute
he?
30
Wait,
seconds
hold
left.
on.
I haven't heard
I'm
you say
like,
the name
it's-
yet.
It's on my tip of my tongue. I feel like I know. Hold on. Oh, this hurts. It's not Aaron Glenn, Mr. Magics. You're in a different era. Marcus Coleman. All right, yeah, all right. He's pulling out all the same era guys. Boozer was already gone. Not Lavernius Coles. He wasn't there yet. Gosh darn it. We need one more touchdown. We got Wesley Walker,
Got
Roger
1 minute.
Vick.
Castano.
Roger Vick,
It is not Roger Vick. It is not Mark Astano.
James Booty.
Joe Klecko.
It is not Joe Klecko.
Abdul Salam.
It is
How about
not
Booty?
Abdul Salam. It's not John Booty.
God damn it. Maybe it's one of the offensive linemen.
No. Well, I don't know. I feel like it's hold on a second.
This may be the worst game I've ever seen in my life, by
Oh,
the
it
way.
sucks. It's so bad.
What is
And y'all
going
are
on?
paying to
with
watch
team?
this.
Not
I know
Lance
we all
Mel.
love football, but wow. Is there a more disappointing team than Indianapolis this
Oh.
season?
No.
What
no,
happened
no.
to Matt Ryan? Did he turn
It's them or Denver.
65 this year?
Wait. Lance Mel.
Lance Mead.
Mel is incorrect. Okay.
Kyle Clifton.
Indiana Jets fan finally got the last name correct. But do you know the first name, Indiana?
Bligen. Who the hell is that? I was never
and
going to
that's-
get it, Frankie.
And that's time. That's time.
So we got it.
Do you know his first name?
Indiana, you got to give us his first
You
name.
got to give us the first name.
Billy Blythe.
We're extending it. The judges have
There we
chosen
go.
to
Yeah, I
extend
knew once
it.
somebody mentioned the last name, somebody would know it. Yes, it was
62-yard
Dennis
field goal.
Bligen.
Dennis,
Bligen
so what
from
position?
St. John's, running back from St. John's University. He was with the Jets from 84 to 87.
Dennis Bligen. Oh, he's a Bill just
Never heard of
Scuttle
him.
Buddle. I've never even heard of that name. I might have
4
said
years.
Augustiniak.
Yeah.
It's funny. How do I not remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what's funny, Watsuke? That literally outside of the Mud Bowl and that's one of the games like that I remember, like that was that made me a Jets fan. Like I was allowed to stay up late and watch. It was like a whole thing. I forget why it was on at night or whatever, but I was allowed to watch it. I remember being so excited for this team is the best. Look at them. They're the best. It was one of the games that made me a Jets fan. Amazing.
The crowd is so loud. Like Giant Stadium is intense. The Meadowlands is so intense. I mean, the JETS chant, I mean, it's constant and it's loud. I mean, it is. I mean, before the days of PSLs and all of that, I mean, that crowd was crazy in the 1980s. They were something.
I mean, nothing
Yeah.
compares to MetLife. I mean, come on. With an
I know,
NFL
it's-
shield in the middle of the
Oh.
field, I mean, nothing compares to that.
They definitely made it. They definitely figured it out and improved upon the old stadium for MetLife.
Yeah.
You know
I
what,
mean,
though? I will tell you this. I bet they're making an extra $5 million a game because almost the whole lower level is now designated for businesses and white collar and all that jazz.
yeah.
That's what they do.
Unfortunately, when you're watching this game, you will not see the red New Jersey Meadowlands logo at midfield.
It's
That
just
was-
clear.
yeah.
It's
It's
just
just
clean.
basically clear. It's
Wow.
weird seeing like the 50-yard line with nothing on it when you got, Brownie the elf now and all kinds of things now. And the blue
Yeah.
fence, it just looks so lame. You could see the blue fence around it because it was really the Giants stadium, but it's like, Jets, you could hang like one banner about that big and you could hang that around the 20-yard line. Oh my God. It felt like they were just ready to evict us and throw us out even after 2 years. It was sad, but the crowd was unbelievable.
We
Yeah,
should have
well, you know
stayed at
what?
Shea Stadium. That's what should have happened.
Yeah, that's what Harry says. Harry loved some Shea Stadium. And
love
as we
Shea
know,
Stadium.
Ryan from Jets Talk 27 named his daughter after Shea Stadium. We have little Shea, beautiful little addition to our Jets family. Now, you know what's this is how you know when they built MetLife, they were completely cockeyed on the priorities. Here, this says it all. Fireman Ed was lower level, like in the same spot for 25 years. He led the Jets chant, the whole thing. When they, instead of just giving him his seat, like just giving him where they put him in the end zone, they moved him to the end zone because those tickets, they were worth too much. They were businessman tickets. That says it all. Like
Sorry,
no
Fireman
honor.
Ed. Doesn't matter that you've represented our team all these years. Doesn't
Right.
matter that you're one of the things that people recognize about the Jets. Doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
can't give us enough money. Get out of here.
That's right. This guy's going to pay $100,000 PSL for this seat. Beat it. Get out. Who, by the way, guys, Fireman Ed is going to be our guest on this very show on, I think it's October 20th. So we have Fireman Ed coming on. I'm really excited about it. I've met him a few times, chatted with him and stuff, but never here. So this will be our official chat. Did you guys see his promo today? He's trying to get Jets fans into the game to give us a great home field advantage. And he mentioned GreenBean. He said, what about you, Jet Nation? What about you, Jet Lounge? What about you, GreenBean? Okay, so he goes, hey, I wish I could come. Well, I almost forgot. Let's bring Jeremy. So, guys, we have another guy here. Jeremy from Jets Chaos is also with us. And we're going to bring him on. He's got a new hairdo, and we're going to have to roast him a little bit, Frankie, because not for the hairdo, but for something else. Look at now. Jeremy, did you get that look with the Manscaped products? That's the question.
That's the question.
I was so terrified because it was getting so long over here. I said, how am I going to trim that down? And I've cut myself with scissors. I've tried everything in the world. This was the answer. Took it right off, nice and smooth. No pain, nothing. Just came right off. I was able to detail this. This is what I've been after all along. Eventually, I'm going to grow it down until my wife throws me out of the house.
There you go.
Hey, that was the question I was going to ask. Does Miss Jocelyn approve of this look?
She thinks it's distinct. When I told her I was going to keep growing down, she said, no.
Well, here's the thing. She's just happy that it's not growing out of his ears anymore. Anything after that is fine. We learned last week that she discovered a little too much ear hair growing out of Jeremy's ears one day. So now that's gone thanks to the Manscaped Weed Whacker, right? Isn't that what it's called? I think it's called the
right
Weed
here.
Weed
Right
Whacker.
here.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is.
I can't wait for the hair to grow back because I enjoy just chopping it.
Well, you could still stick it up your nose. I do that every single day. I use that thing every day in my
nose with a rubber hose.
That's right. With a nice, you nailed the accent, Y2K. That was good. So just so you guys know, Manscaped is the official sponsor of the Thursday Thick of It, and they are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered, Jeremy. Precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Over 6 million men worldwide trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer, which is 20% off whatever deals they already have on their website. And for whatever reason, there happen to be some serious deals on there, and you can add 20% off. Even if it's like 30, 40, whatever percent off already, you can add 20% by adding the promo code GreenBean when you're in the checkout. It'll ask you for a promo code. Type in GreenBean. They'll take 20% right off. And no matter where you live in the world, if you're in the UK, if you're down in New Zealand like Braden, or Australia like Bismo, free shipping for you using the promo code GreenBean. So there it is, the Manscaped bundle, the performance package. And as we know, Mr. Magic's bought the platinum package and saved himself $139.61 just by using the promo code GreenBean. So we're all happy here. Thank you, Manscaped. Thank you, Jeremy, for that beautifully shaven head and the new look. See, but this is the thing, Frankie, I learned Jeremy's changing his look because he is now a new channel. Did you know about this channel, Frankie?
Oh, no.
Just take a guess. What would you think the subject matter would be, Frankie?
And it's not hot sauce.
Hot sauce, right? It's funny. You nailed that, Y2K. And it's not hot sauce. So what else? What other subject do you think? Looking at our good friend Jeremy, what would the channel be about? Snacks? Right? Makes sense. You know, candy.
York peppermint patties.
York peppermint patties. Well, this is going to surprise you, Frankie. I think sincerely. I think you will legitimately be surprised. He is now the proud leader of the channel 49ers Chaos. What the hell is going on, Frankie?
I don't know.
He is, yeah.
So he's not a Jet fan anymore?
Jets
I'm wondering.
Apparently.
This is not true. This is not, of course I'm a Jets fan.
He's from Brooklyn. Well, you know,
that shirt looks very red.
That's right. He's wearing 49ers colors.
Change your allegiance. I mean, that's okay.
It's a Radio Shack shirt.
Faithful to the Bay will have.
Oh, did you decide to wear that instead of your Circuit City T-shirt? What was the other option?
Oh,
Jim Pot thought it was
worst
fishing.
Football game ever played.
That's why I'm psyched to play Denver. Let's go and bloody their face.
Cardinals, like the Greg McElroy game, that Jets Cardinals game from all those years ago. Is that worse? Is this worse?
The reality is, I'm not going to be providing the expertise or even the passion for the 49ers. I'm simply creating a space and bringing 49er cast to those fans with people that I have found in this local area that don't know how to use YouTube and don't have an interest in being the owner of the channel.
Oh,
it's a business opportunity.
Excuse for saying you're now a 49er fan.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's going to be funny when the 49ers later this year are in the playoffs and all that. Jeremy's going to be like, yeah, on the you'll see. Right.
Yeah, he'll be like, oh, Devo, that's my boy. That's my boy.
That's Jeremy's move. That's my boy. Right. You know it.
He'll be getting up, hugging his brother. Oh, boy, for all those Devo touchdowns. Jeff Wilson's going to be his new boy toy.
Yeah. So I'll show you guys something in a second. I'll wait. Let me see if I can do.
Oh, God.
I think Jeremy's really telling us he's a Jimmy G fanboy. That's what it is.
That's what it is. I think so too.
I mean, Jimmy G is very handsome.
Jimmy G is probably a Manscaped guy. I would have to think.
You get that feeling.
He's got to be one of the 6 million men.
Now, if you guys haven't seen this, I'm working on another one. I thought, Jeremy, what a labor-intensive process this one was, man.
I was not in my house, not in my studio.
No. I mean, not just that. I mean, there's just so much. It's so dense, like the ups and downs. I'm trying to capture it. But guys, I'll show you just a little bit. It's a little more than a minute and a half, I think. I'll show you guys a little bit of Jeremy. And myself, for that matter, not to leave him alone on an island here. But here we go. We'll take a look and listen to this. Now, let me know. Can you guys hear this? Can you hear it?
Yeah.
You were able to hear it?
Not yet. No.
You didn't hear anything?
No. Just seeing it.
All right, hold on. You might have to do it this way. Can you guys hear this?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
They didn't give it to us. We're being robbed. They're cheating us, man. It's never ending. How cheated we are as a people. Make them one fake. Oh, they fake. Yeah, there you go. That's why Jeff Smith's on the team. Jeff Smith. I'll tell you, man. Jeff Smith just for that. Dad, that's it. That's what they've been waiting for. You'll see, guys. We'll say, there's one receipt. Here you go. So I was out like, get spit. Here's my get spit. Who wants to eat it? Look at Brees Hall. Oh, look at Brees Hall. No! Nice. This is what we call a drive. Flacco with a pass. Oh! Yes! Can you believe it? Garrett Wilson was open. He's literally yelling in Cleveland Browns fans' faces. Touchdown, Brees Hall! See it, Dave?
Or I could see a 31-28. I think it's going to be something along those lines.
How fun would that be? Yes. Oh my God! Look at Corey Davis. Yeah! We might have it. We might have
There it is.
Oh my God!
Ah.
They do have it. Derek Wilson! Oh my God! He's a stud! Yeah! Garrett Wilson is a stud. Dude, we can win right here. I know. You better fucking make this. You better make this, Greg. I can't even believe it. Yes! Interception! Holy shit! Holy shit! Yes! Jet! Dude, that's why we kept Ashton Davis.
I have so many questions. I have so many questions.
There you go. That was the Cleveland.
Number one, where is Jeremy's left hand the entire time? He only celebrates with one arm at a time. Number two, he's wearing a red shirt in every video. So apparently these 49ers roots, these were planted weeks ago.
Yeah, it's funny, right? We didn't realize the consistency. And I happen to be wearing a red shirt today, too. If I'd just known, I wouldn't have done that so we could leave Jeremy on an island and lambast him. I would have liked that. But,
I hold my manscape with my right hand.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. I like
3
that.
hours
That's
at a time? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Would the Colts consider taking Matt Ryan out?
Who's their
No.
backup quarterback?
Who's their backup?
That's the question. Because he might be the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, he is stinking up this joint. Ooh.
Yep.
Russell
Well, the
Wilson's
good
not
news
much
for the
better
Colts
right now either.
The good news for the Colts is that Wentz looks potentially even worse in Washington.
Why are all these quarterbacks looking terrible this year? It's weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they went
Matt
from Peyton
Ryan
Manning,
can't do anything. What is going on with him?
They went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, and ever
Oh,
since then-
guys, Nick Foles
Nick
is their
Foles,
backup.
Nick Foles.
Oh, go with it. Yeah, they need to
why
do that.
not?
Yeah.
But let me say this:
Yank
as
'em.
much as I actually think Chris Ballard is a good GM, I think he's done a lot of great things. I mean, it's falling apart this year, but the one place you cannot leave this guy, you cannot save him. He has botched quarterbacks so badly. I mean, number one, not protecting Luck. That's a big deal. Finally,
Yes.
they get the offensive line, and Luck's already damaged goods, and he retires to save himself from the continued beatings. Then they bring in Phillip Rivers. They trade for Carson Wentz. They do now Matt, right? It's like, dude, just commit to a quarterback. You're like scraping the dregs. Like
It's
old,
hard to argue. I mean, it's hard to imagine that Matt Ryan would be this bad.
I know
mean,
that in their defense, right? That's a good point, Frankie.
the
A
world.
lot of people thought like this is going to be perfect for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I
No?
thought so too.
It's
Look
just
at
weird.
Russell Wilson. I mean, Wilson can't even complete a pass. What is going on with these people?
Maybe they should. Maybe Denver should put Ciara in a
He
quarterback.
just threw a pick. He just
I
threw a
mean,
pick.
Really?
Team 3, they just paid Russell Wilson a bazillion dollars, and he looks like hot garbage.
Yeah.
Now he'll probably get it figured out, but Matt Ryan, I mean, that is bizarre. That's bizarro world.
Right. Well, didn't Russell Wilson, he says he puts $1 million into his body every year. That's how much it costs to maintain his, which when you look at his pay, he makes 25, 30 million, whatever it is. It's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? Take care
he's
of
got
your
the whole
investment.
Team 3 thing. I mean, he's got his own field. He's got his own everything.
Right.
And they just extended his contract, Johnny P. So he's, I mean, if he's done, Denver has a real problem. Denver would have a real problem. Now, Russell Wilson.
Maybe they
probably
could
will
get,
get it
maybe they
figured
could get
out,
Paxton Lynch back. I don't know.
Oh my God. But I know, dude, but think about it, because you
They
got
got to
the
ride with
Rams,
Russ. I mean,
right? You have the Rams who did, they traded for Matthew Stafford. They gave away Jared Goff, who's significantly younger. He had the bloated contract. They wanted to dump it, but it worked out so well for them, right? He's the guy that's able to elevate the team and get them to the Super Bowl and win it. And then everybody's like, well, why not us? We have a good team. We're talented. Got all these guys. The Colts had one of the best offensive lines in the league. They got Pittman. They got Jonathan Taylor. All these guys. And it's like, you think Matt Ryan, he's been efficient. He's been his whole career. He comes in and shits the bed. Now Denver, they traded everything to Seattle for Russell Wilson, and it looked like it was expensive, but it looked like a great move.
Plus money.
And he's completely. It's like he looks. Look at this. He drops it. What a loser.
That's why if Zach Wilson turns out to be good, the way we're building the team is the way to do it. I mean, the big X factor is always the quarterback, but if Zach Wilson can actually turn out to be good, the way we're building it is the right way to do it. If you can get the QB right,
I mean, there's definitely there's an argument, right? Like, why not just like what the Rams have been doing? They have not had a first round pick in a long time. I think they might have one next year, the first time in a long time, maybe. But there's an argument there. Like, why take a shot in this crapshoot up top? Just give it away and get a known commodity. I mean, there's an argument for that. But the right way, I mean, that doesn't work all the time. It's like it actually works much less than you'd think, but then you look at the way we're doing, like Frankie, you just said, if Zach Wilson works out, just like, Herbert worked out or Joe Burrow, these guys, if he can work out, dude, that's the way to do it. You got this guy for as long as you want him, 10, 15, 20 years.
And then you build around him. And you don't have to pay him that much. So, like, he's on a rookie contract. I mean, eventually, if he's good, we got to pay him. There's,
got to do
it. But you just build around him, like the Steelers built around Roethlisberger all those years. They were drafting defense and offensive line and this and that. They didn't have to worry about the quarterback. It's the same.
Well, look, answer your Rams question really quick.
With
their draft next year, you're not going to believe this. They don't have their first. They traded it for Stafford. They have their
that's
two.
Still this year. Okay.
They have their 2. They have their 3. They don't have their 4. They traded that for Sonny Michel. They don't have their 5. They traded that for Troy Hill.
Boy, they're going to be in trouble if they don't win again. Now they won a Super Bowl, so like the risk reward,
it's all worth it.
Yeah,
it all
they won
out.
one, but now it's going to probably come back to haunt them. I mean,
it is.
Probably.
We're seeing it now. Look at their offensive. San Francisco abused them on Monday night. It was
right.
It was shocking to watch that game. Shocking.
Yeah, I mean, look, is one Super Bowl worth it? I mean, it would be for us. I mean, look, we have 45 years of no. So if they did all this moving and shaking and got us one, I'll take it.
Rams fans would probably say, yeah, I would think. Yeah,
I think so too.
We'll go into the toilet for a decade for that one. Yeah.
Now, Dom C., our good buddy, jumping in, who, by the way, has a fantastic Zach Wilson article using some graphics and such to highlight his points, is released tomorrow morning, bright and early, about 8 a.m. or 7 a.m., I think. The article will be out on GreenBeanjetsfan.com. And you guys are going to like it. And Dom's a rock star, man, and he does some great work. And again, great article being released tomorrow. He says the common denominator, these quarterbacks have awful O-lines. Correct. But what happened to the Colts off? I mean, the injuries, right? I mean, they just lost their center, right? But it's like, I mean, they were the best offensive line in the league last year, I think, or top 3.
I don't know what the heck happened to their line, but times when Ryan just has all day and he can't find somebody, or he's just making stupid decisions. It's 3rd and 12 and he's throwing a 3-yard out. I mean, what are you doing?
Now I know I'm hungry because Jin Pak said no Taylor, and the only thing I thought was, oh my God, I'd love a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese right now.
Oh man, don't get
That's
started.
what I
with
thought. I know, right? I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm hungry, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look, they're saying Matt Ryan is the same age as Flacco, so they were in the same draft. I don't know if
But
the exact same.
he was good. He was good last year for the Falcons. Not great, but solid.
Yeah, and he looked like the team wasn't good enough to, kind of keep up with him like his last couple years in the league. It was like, it's a shame that he's got this. So get him over to the Colts. It made sense. What did they give up for him? Was it a third? What was it? You remember?
For Ryan?
I don't know what that trade was, but
they got a third.
And now
right?
the Falcons are doing better than anybody would have thought, too. The Falcons are looking good. That's a surprise.
What's their record? Oh my God.
2-2, I think.
2-2. Can you believe that game is for first place? Bucks Falcons is for first place in the NFC
Falcons.
South.
Let's go Falcons, man. Let's go Falcons. I'm hope they say Tom Brady's all sad and baloney.
No way.
I'm telling you. This
He's
guy
come out and put 600 yards up.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what'll end up happening.
Take this, Giselle. Setting every record.
This is why. This is why I don't want to leave. Look, you make me leave. I'm so good. I'm still so good. Somebody brought up maybe it wouldn't it be poetically, beautifully justice if in a couple months we found out Giselle was with Zach Wilson. Wouldn't that be fun?
She's too young for him. No.
She's too young for him? Yeah. Maybe. That's funny. All right. Well, what else we got in here?
Hey, GreenBean, you like my new?
There it is. Oh shit! I was supposed to give one of those away tonight. Damn, I'll do it. I want to do it in the middle of the show. We lost a lot. Okay. So all right, there we go. The next show, I don't think I'm going to be able to do next week. I'll talk to you guys after about some logistics. I don't think I can be here next week, sadly. But the next Thursday thick of it, we will be giving away what you see behind Jeremy. Frankie's got one too. There are only 5 in existence. Those are called the Jets Jack.
What do you mean there's only 5 in existence?
There's only 5 of them ever made. You have one. Jeremy has one.
Jets logos. Oh, that is cool.
Yep. So you see all the Jets logos through history are on there, as well as the British flag and the United States flag. And then the whole thing is a British flag done green like the Jets. And then in the middle, it says Stoke-on-Trent or just Stoke, right?
Stoke and then on Trent right here.
Yeah, because the gentleman, Phil Adams, who made it, that's where he's from, Stoke.
Wait a minute. Phil Adams, first of all, made this thing? He didn't even tell me.
His own design.
He sent it to me. He didn't tell me any of this. He was just like, here you go, Frankie. Happy birthday. And I get it. And I'm like, oh, cool. He sent me another flag. Great. That's I didn't know it was one of 5 ever made and that Phil Adams made it himself. What the hell?
Well, look, it's not going to last long, Frankie. Hawk is already going to make some more to dilute the market.
He's not going to do any such thing.
He would.
Hawk is not going to do any such thing. But this means I have something that there's only 5 of in the whole planet Earth.
That's right. There are only 5 of them.
I would have taken care of it. No, just kidding.
Right. I wouldn't have thrown it in the garbage. But it's really a beautiful thing. And again, don't forget, Phil Adams went to the Jets game in London last year against the Falcons, and he brought that, and he had seats lower level, and he was able to kind of hang and show everybody. Yeah, but anyway, that was the only one at that point. He had 4 more made. Frankie got one, Jeremy got one, I got 2 with the specific purpose of giving one away to one of you. I completely forgot. I even put out a community post today saying I was going to do it, but I'll do it next time so we can give it its proper fanfare. I don't want to do it at 10:35 on a Thursday night. So we'll do that, and one of you guys will win the 5th and final Jets Jack. Isn't that nice? Yeah, and thank you, Jeremy, for pointing it out. It looks great back there. It's really a cool thing. I sincerely love it. I really do.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing, and I'm sorry, Frankie. I know it tarnishes it a little bit now. Yeah, you got so flattered that he made it, and that's so exciting. But knowing that out of the 5, I have one of them must just kind of bring it down.
It brings down the value.
Yeah, now you have a 49er fan who got one, so I'm not sure if it's appropriate anymore.
Oh,
yeah. Anthony's crushing it. He said the Jets Jack is the new Bitcoin, and he just made an NFT of it. So this is kind of out there now, baby. It's
Hey,
out
Frankie,
there.
Where's your flag? Where's yours?
Well, I didn't know it was so valuable. It's actually in
Oh,
my
it's-
garage. I'm showing it off to people.
I was gonna say on the wall or on the floor.
No, on the wall. I hung it up, and I wanted
Okay.
people to know, like, look at this, because people walk past and see it and all. So I'm showing it off, but I didn't realize that it was so valuable. This is amazing news.
Yeah, look at this. Salty Nut says Jeremy's will have sauce on it in a week. Yeah, totally. So yeah, Hawk says it's beautiful. So all right, look, well, let's wrap up the show with a little bit of predictions. I want to hear what you guys legitimately think. I mean, we're in an interesting place. It's odd. It's outside of our normal purview. The Jets are 2-2 going into our first division game against the hated Miami Dolphins. Now we're a little banged up. They're a little banged up. They're coming into MetLife. Hopefully we have a nice home field advantage. We'll see how it goes. Lots of tickets are still available, I hear. What do you guys think? Now, I'll start with you, Jeremy. Realistically, without maybe all the way fandom, but what do you think the outcome of this game will be against the Dolphins?
I think it's going to be something like 34-19 Jets. I think it's going to be a bigger margin than people expect. And this is going to be our first sizable win in a long, long time.
Excellent. Now, interestingly, Jeremy, look, you say 34. Mr. Magix comes out and says 30. Hawk says 34. Indiana Jets says 34. What the hell's going on, Wat2K? I think we might score 30. This is something. There's something in the ether here, man. So Wat2K, not to pressure you, you don't have to say 34 unless you really want to. What is your prediction for this weekend's game?
I can't quite say I have the confidence we're going to score 34 points. However, I do believe that this is going to be a big game for the Jets offense. I think this is going to be a game that is going to get them a lot of attention. Just think about this. The Dolphins are down their two top corners, most likely. They are 31st in passing yards allowed per game, 27th in sacks. They're allowing 403 yards per game. That's the fifth worst in the league. They have only one sack this year from their defensive line. Only one from their line. They got to blitz. They got to send these outside guys to get any pressure on the quarterback. I know the record looks pretty darn good, but you got to look a little deeper than the record sometimes. And I think this defense is going to get carved up. I have put myself out on the line 2 days ago. I made a video where I predicted the Jets were going to put up a 30 spot on the Dolphins, and little did I know it would get over 2,000 views. I don't know why, but it's getting attention.
Amazing.
So I put myself out there. They better not let me down on Sunday.
I like it.
But I
like
feel good about this game. I think our outside receivers can cook against these backup cornerbacks. I am going Jets 31, Dolphins 21.
Amazing, dude. So we got a couple 30 bangers, Frankie. And look, Bradigan's checking in with a 31-24. Mikey Mal says 24. People are expecting some points. Stud City says 31-16. Frankie, where are you? Are you in the 30 neighborhood or are you somewhere else?
Well, I'll say this. I really desperately want Zach Wilson to play a complete game, and I'm looking forward to him doing so. And therefore, I'm going to anticipate that he will. I'll say Jets 35, Dolphins 32.
Ooh, a game for the ages. In 33 years, we'll be watching this game on GreenBean's private Zoom room. And in 30 years, I'll be 80 years old. So you'll have to suspend your expectations.
You'll be freezing, but it's not because you'll be freezing, but not because the internet went out.
Right. It'll actually be me freezing. I remember this game. We were talking about it. Jeremy,
wake up!
We'll say Jeremy, God rest his soul, said 30-25, whatever it is.
Need get in here.
Well, in my day, we used to talk about these points like we actually could score. We know now the Jets don't score. So Adam says 34-17. So Frankie, what was you said 35?
32. This way we could still be mad at Albrecht.
There you go. Right. If it wasn't for that guy, we almost lost. There you go. Snowball says 51-45. Look, hey, Joel, real quick. I now have Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Garrett Wilson on my team.
That's called.
Now they're benching and everything. I just traded for Corey Davis, but should I start them all? You think I should start them all?
Traded for Corey Davis.
Yeah, but I traded a scrub. So DJ Moore, he's just
doesn't matter. 2 weeks ago, I remember you said that he sucks.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm sorry. I remember, and 2 weeks later,
you shouldn't start all three because
it doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. It's just fantasy, man. I'm with you.
All three can't really have big numbers. I mean, one of them probably will, and the question is which.
Well, both Elijah Moore and Corey Davis both had 25, whatever it was. So there's that.
I gotta go with Davis right now until Moore proves it.
Well, that's my thought, Y2K. My thought is Zach Wilson throws Corey Davis the ball. That's what he does. So if we're any good, Jets best 34-31. All right, Ablab 33-27. Here's mine. I'm going to tell you this. After Hawks 31-49.
49 passes.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
That's a Flacco level game.
Zach 31 for 49, 318, 3 touchdowns. I like that. Here's my prediction. I think it's going to be 31-24. I think we're going to have a stressful last 4 minutes and we'll hold. I think we're going to go into that. It's going to be a fourth quarter stress fest, but not trying to get there. We're going to be there trying to keep it. That's what I think. I also think that if the Jets come in and ready to play, I think that we can exploit their weaknesses. If Xavier Howard doesn't play, I think Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, and Corey Davis are going to have a lot of potential to make big impacts in this game. So there it is. Some guy 24-23, not sure who wins. He just knows that's the score. Salty Nuts 24-17.
Is there anybody? I think the only two people in the world in this have been on this chat who's going to pick Miami are Finstock and Stephen Engel. That's it. Those are the only two.
Hey, Mikey Miles says, hey, I would watch a series called Senile Jets Fans where you do that voice. That's funny. Well, in my day, everything's well. So what do you think of that? Well,
and then they started this thing called the forward pass. Oh, it revolutionized the game.
Yeah, back then we used to be allowed to tackle people. Remember those days? Now you have to just stand in front of him and touch him and he's down.
Gatorade was not carbonated back then.
That's it. Knobcraft says he picked Miami. Knobcraft, that's unforgivable. And I don't like it, quite frankly. All right, guys, there it is. That is the end of this week's Thursday Thick of It. I want to thank everybody for stopping by and being here. Most of you guys hung out all night, so that's pretty cool. I want to thank the panel, Jeremy, Y2K, and Frankie, as always. Let's very quickly go around and see what people got going. Jeremy's going to talk about the 49ers, I'm sure. So let's get to him first and get that shit out of the way. What do you got, Jeremy?
No, that's not for the Jet
fan. I know. I'm just kidding.
But I want.
Hey, wait, hold on. Jake Assman stopped by just to give us his prediction. Jake. And I like this. He says 27-24 New York Jets. And by the way, everybody, Jake Assman is traveling up from Houston to go to MetLife Stadium to be at this game. He will be at the Jet Lounge tailgate. If you guys are going to be there, you can make your way over to the Jet Lounge. Not only can you see Sack Exchange and Anthony Brack and all the guys from the Jet Lounge, but you will also get to meet Jake Assman, one of our buds, one of the best, if not the best, Jets content creator out there. And he's coming up to see a home victory against our division opponent. Thanks for being here, Jake. Love having you, buddy. So, Jeremy, there you go. What do you got, bud?
I just want to say Jake Assman, who also covers another NFL team, but it doesn't make anybody question.
But he gets paid.
Yeah. He works for ESPN.
He gets a paycheck for that.
Yeah, you're creating a channel.
I'm trying to get there. But Sunday, I'm going to be doing a watch party with GreenBean. You see our reactions. You see the fun we have. Sometimes you can even see GreenBean having to scold me because I get really down. Sometimes I need to be smacked around and put in place. I'm an emotional guy, but it's worth seeing. You'll love it. You'll love the intensity of it. And after the game, I do the Buffalo Jets fan. We do a post game 10 minutes after every Jet game. This week it's going to be on my channel. He asked me to host it. So after the game, I'll be coming on to Jets Chaos, and we'll have people like Adam, who's here, and we invite everybody. So we will have a panel with plenty of people on it for a post-game Jets reaction.
Fantastic. I said quickly, but Jeremy didn't listen. He just kept talking and talking. And next September, I have a wedding party. And anyway, thank you, Jeremy. We know we love you. Jets chaos, everybody, and 49ers chaos. So, Wat2K, what do you have going on? You're talking about this 2,000 view video. Wat2K's on the rise, everybody. What's cooking, Wat2K?
Man, it seems like every day I'm working my way up to Buffalo Jets level territory, trying to do 2-3 videos an hour, whenever I can. But today I did my confidence picks. I pick the winners every week, and I rank them from most confident to least confident. I'll be doing tomorrow my 5 bold predictions for Jets versus Dolphins, and I'll be doing my game preview, which I send out to the Virginia Jets fans, but it's available for anybody to watch. I like to think it's a pretty comprehensive preview. We just throw in a few club announcements, and we're actually doing this is something pretty cool we're doing. So the November 6th game, we're going to be watching that game with the Cleveland Browns fans down here in the Tidewater Browns backers, they're called. They're on a bye that week. So they invited the Jets fans to come over and watch Jets Bills with us. And we'll be doing a whole raffle, a chili cook-off on November 6th. And all the proceeds, all the money will go to St. Jude Children's Hospital. So we're getting multiple fans together from different teams, and we're going to eat a bunch of chili and support a great cause. So I'm really excited about it.
There you go. St. Jude, my favorite of all charities. I've been supporting them for the last 15 years. I cannot speak higher about them than I do. I mean, they're just the best. And thank you, Wat2K, for doing all that, man. That's awesome. Now, Frankie, before I get to you, I want to real quick just show a 5-second clip of what Jeremy's talking about, of what I was dealing with Jeremy the other night. This is just very quickly.
Oh, God.
Okay. Oh, shit. Where was it? Wait.
I was suicidal.
Oh, here it is.
This is what convinced Jeremy to shave, I think.
All right. Now, let me turn this up so you guys can hear it. Hold on.
Oh, I don't want to look at this.
All right. Hold on. This is what? This is what I was dealing with. Wait.
This is right.
We're not going to win 4 games this year. We're going to win 4 games again. Stop it.
I can't see it.
Perfect.
I see. That's what I was dealing with. I did that how many times, Jeremy? Stop. Jeremy, stop. Jeremy, get your head out of the toilet. That's what I said. Get your head out of the toilet. So that's what I was dealing with. There you go. Very quickly. That video will be out hopefully tomorrow. I mean, it's fucking endless cutting, and I don't know if I'll ever do that again. But anyway,
Jeremy looks like he's about to headline a show with Anthrax.
Yeah, all right, Scott Ian. So Frankie, you have a channel, I heard, as well. Why don't you let everybody know where you are and what you got?
Yeah, Frankie from Flatbush Channel. Y'all know it. Y'all love it. We go live at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Coffee with Frankie. Check it out. Come and hang out live on Sunday morning.
Hang out live with Frankie from Flatbush. One of my favorite channels out there. You're always going to get legit info when you tune in to Frankie. So we got Frankie from Flatbush, Jets Chaos, New York Sports, Wicker Media, Wat2K himself. And as always, guys, please subscribe to the channel. This is Greenbeanjetsfan. Thank you for watching the Thursday Thick of It. You can also join my private exclusive club, the Beanbaggers, for additional content. And you can do that. The description is in the link is in the description. And I want to thank our sponsor, Manscaped, for sponsoring the Thursday Thick of It. We all love their products. You can wait, let me do this too. Just the end. This one. You guys can find the link to their products in the description as well, up top above the fold, and use the promo code GreenBean. Not only will it benefit you, but it benefits the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. With that all said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Have a great night. Let me find it. And let me see, where did it go? Have a great night, everybody. See you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby. I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans. We're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.